J Squad.
We gotta find now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. The program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue.
Yo, what is going on tonight? Chat, I have made a mistake last night. I made a huge mistake and I am paying for it now. My goodness. Let's get you back open here and closed. So I last night was looking over stuff on my computer, thinking of, stuff I was going to do. I was looking at games too, because I know I've talked about doing another Finding the Woke, and I was looking through some of them, and then I noticed that Digimon, the new Digimon game that came out, had a demo. It had a demo, and I was like, well, I could just play the demo real quick. There won't be any problem with that. And then I'll see if I like it, and maybe, download it, let it download overnight, and play it a little bit if I like it. Well, 1 a.m. later, after playing through the demo and then downloading the game, I went to sleep. So 3 nights in a row, not going to bed till after midnight. It's a little rough today. So we're gonna make it through it. I don't have a lot to go over on the content. We're just gonna talk about this recent Endymion stuff, as well as talk about as well as watch the video on Ghosts of Skill Up's review of Ghosts of Yoyita, because they're saying that he absolutely hates the game, and I'm getting mixed signals. So if I'm getting I mean, even if I'm not getting mixed signals, I'm gonna go watch it myself generally. And but I want to see what his take was on it, considering the anti-woke are using him so vigilantly to go after Ghosts of Yoyita and say that it's not a success, that it's not a winner, it's not a banger. So let's go ahead and get into this video. I think what I'm going to do at the end, if we get through, because we might blast through this stuff pretty quick. Yeah, we probably will. We're going to go in, and I'm going to play a little Digimon as like starting out Finding the Woke. Another Finding the Woke. The last one I did was South of Midnight, and I was actually pretty happy for that because I found a really good game. Now, when it comes to the Digimon game, I already know I'm liking this game, so I think it'll be fun to play. We'll see though. This old man might be too tired by the end of everything to go from there. I think my issue with the sales data thing is how everyone can't wait for the official announcement from Sucker Punch. That's my thing. Like, the thing is when I go in through it and talk about it, I'm not, what can I say? I'm not trying to say the game is a breakout success. I'm not even trying to say the game is a success. What I'm trying to do is tell these people that go through, and welcome Red Stain, thank you, that the numbers that you're talking about are bullshit. Like, you're twisting numbers from analysts to make it look bad when the analyst or whatever number it's coming from is saying the opposite. But and even then I see a lot less of that from the left, I would say, or I guess the wokies that I would say, or in this case, I don't even think it's the wokies. I think it's just gamers, because it seems like even Asman may be against the game, against the wokers on Ghosts. But let's go ahead and watch through this, and let's see what Skill Up actually said about the game.
Are you getting told to keep it down but don't want to wear a bulky headset when playing your PS5? Well, channel sponsor SteelSeries have released their first ever set of earbuds specifically designed for both gaming and everyday use. Their Arctis game buds support 2.4 GHz wide active noise, and you can say basically because the game's in 2020, use offer code SKILLUP at checkout. Stick around to the end of the video to learn more. In 2020, I basically awarded Ghost of Tsushima my personal game of the year, and I say basically because the game sat a little awkwardly at the top of my list. What I said back then was that when it comes to a game of the year list, I put a big premium on innovation, and Ghost of Tsushima wasn't really innovative per se. Instead, it was an incredibly refined.
Yeah, I think I can see where they may already start to go at this, because yeah, he's being while Ghost of Tsushima, it was like, I think is a great game. When it comes to terms of what it is, it's not innovating the market, right? It's rock paper scissors system, open world map, things to do on the map, very very similar to what Ubisoft did. What made this game was its setting, the story, making the combat fluid, and I like the way they did the transferring versus different weapons. So yeah, I could see why you would say that.
version of the open world formula that we've been playing throughout most of the 2010s, and so it felt more iterative than breakthrough. That didn't stop it from being a phenomenal game, mind you. In fact, it was so good that one of the other things I said in that Game of the Year video is that I think this particular spin on the open world formula, this map marker driven AAA Ubisoft inspired cinematic open world action game, Ghost of Tsushima essentially perfected that formula to the point where there was nowhere else for it to go. On that basis, I was really hopeful that developers would begin to reimagine the foundations of this genre so they could push new frontiers and deliver us something we hadn't experienced before, rather than another version of a game we've played dozens of times now. Ghost of Yotei is exactly what I had pleaded for Sucker Punch to not make. It's Ghost of Tsushima again, but with better visuals and a way worse story. We'll do the full review, don't worry.
Okay, he doesn't like the story, and he's basically saying it's the same game, right? That's a fair assessment, I think. I haven't played the game yet, so I don't know about the story, but I could see where they would be twisting it now.
But that really is the strapline. If you've played Ghost of Tsushima, you have already played this. With how central storytelling is in these sorts of open world games, I came away from Yotei feeling not a lot of love for it, despite it being a pretty phenomenal game in terms of its visuals,
Phenomenal game in terms of its
technical polish, and combat. If that
Let's leave that again because I pause Andy'd that.
storytelling is in these sorts of open world games, I came away from
Very
Yotei
reductive.
feeling not a lot of love for it, despite it being a pretty phenomenal game in terms of its visuals, technical polish, and combat.
So he didn't have a lot of love for it, even though it was a phenomenal game for its visuals and I'm so tired I can't even remember anything right now, and the way the game plays. Welcome, Simon, Vincent, whichever one you are. Yeah, I mean, just right there in that sentence, he's already proven Endymion and all these others wrong exactly on what they're saying on what he said the game was.
If that sounds like a pretty searing indictment of the game, I don't really mean it to be. I'm not here all indignant being like, this is outrageous. It's more just like, I don't really feel anything towards this. All of its breathtaking beauty and remarkable technical polish and its brilliant combat is overshadowed by how familiar all of this feels and how thoroughly disappointing its story is.
And that's something that I could, agree. Like, I was just talking earlier about the when this game came out, it's different in the way it tells stories, it's different in the settings and things like that. Like walking through running on your horse through the fields with all the flowers and all the, wheat or other things in there. It was like a visually beautiful experience, especially the first time I have my reading glasses on. It was a very, very breathtaking experience the first time you picked up the game. A quarter of the way through the game, though, you've gotten used to that's what it is, right? So going into Ghosts of Yotei, if you're expecting a different visual experience, you doesn't seem like you're getting that, right? I could probably take both of these two games and put them side by side, and unless you pay attention to what you're looking at, it could look like the same game, I'm sure.
You might be like, dude, what the hell? You love Ghost of Tsushima. If this is so similar, why are you dunking on it so hard? Well, I guess it's two things. Number one, people change and their tastes change and evolve, especially when there's so many of these sorts of games and they all feel so familiar. You do get tired of them. But also, I made this specific point 5 years ago. I said it was time for this formula to evolve, but it hasn't evolved one iota here in Yotei. But more than that, I really cannot overstate just how important writing is for me at this point. If you want me to saddle up for a familiar gameplay,
I think it's the same feeling for Doom the Dark Ages. Not everyone liked it. Yeah, I mean, they tried to change things up a little bit with Doom, but I don't think with Doom the Dark Ages, but I personally didn't like the way it played compared to, I guess, the others. And yeah, it becomes the same hack and slash. Like it's one thing when you had the original Doom and then you change to the graphically better Doom that still plays like it or better than it really. Versus, that time span you have to be like, man, I miss this type of game and I love how they improved it, versus when Ghosts of Tsushima came out and Ghosts of Yotei. Yeah.
experience, then I'll do it, but the story better be really good. I look at the recent Silent Hill F, which had fairly basic visuals and some janky puzzles, and its combat was not good. But man, what an experience. The way its story and its characters immediately seared themselves into my memory. My first playthrough of Silent Hill F was 9 hours long, and I had thoughts and feelings and emotions throughout nearly every minute of it. I played Yote for 40 hours, and I definitely never had to think at any point. We'll talk more about the quote-unquote puzzles later on. And in terms of feeling, the most pervasive one was boredom, and that's the truth. The point I made 5 years ago about the need for new frontiers, I made that point because if you enjoy these sorts of open world games, then Ghost of Tsushima didn't have any flaws that needed to be fixed in a sequel. The only place Sucker Punch could go was innovation.
You know what's funny about this is the anti-woke have spoken how they just wanted another game with Jin in it, right? Jin in it. And what he is stating in this video would probably be the exact same thing he would be saying that he's saying about Yote now, right? It's a copy paste of the game, nothing changed. So they would be dunking on him if it was Jin because woke whatever. But he's basically calling them off just as they're telling them off just as much as he's saying to Sucker Punch that, hey, you didn't make anything groundbreaking. And personally, me, I don't think that's bad. There's times that I would want like a similar game. Like I'm definitely want to play Ghosts of Yotai, but excuse me. But I can see where you play the same game over and over and over again. Like I make fun of Ubisoft all the time for only making like one game, right? Far Cry is an open world first person shooter where you go around the map doing collectibles. Assassin's Creed is a third person, action RPG versus third person action RPG versus first person action RPG, right? They're essentially the same game, just from slightly different perspectives and add and taking away guns here or there. So it's I understand what he's saying here, but I don't think that necessarily matters for everybody. Some people enjoyed this game so much that they're enjoying the new one because it's the same experience, right? I personally wouldn't mind a new Sly Cooper game. I've heard a lot of people saying that. I actually don't think I ever played Sly Cooper when I was younger. I played a lot of JRPGs. I played a lot of Conker's Bad Fur Day. I actually didn't really play hardly any Banjo-Kazooie. I did play some, but I was on I guess a different area in between there of games that I played.
And there's just none of it here. And imagine where Sucker Punch could have taken Yote. What if it had adopted the curiosity-driven approach of something like Hell Is Us? What if they had a script as strong as Claire Obscura? What if it had adopted the decision-making and consequence of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? What if they'd made time a precious resource like The Altars? What if it had been co-op like modern Far Cry games? What if it had offered a really interesting and compelling loot game like the Ghost of Tsushima Legends mode did? I'm not saying that Yote should have had all of these things or even any of these specific things, but just something, right? Like something to hang its hat on other than being an absurdly good looking game that still has best in class combat for this.
However, I think after Yote, we might see the third game of the Ghost trilogy in about 3 to 4 years. Oh, absolutely. They've already stated the only thing that's come out officially from PlayStation is that they made their money back in 2 days, right? And they're trying to say that this is a lie, but that's like the official statement from someone working within the company or something like that, said that the game has already made its money back and they're just trying to get it set up. I may be wrong there, maybe it wasn't, but I thought I remember saying something about it. So you got to be careful. You got to hold me with a grain of salt on this stream, because today old man's running on fumes. So yeah, I can absolutely see a third one. And here's the thing: like when you look at Ghosts of Tsushima, they didn't, like you said, they didn't reinvent anything there. Like they weren't going for a reinvention of the action RPG open world game. They put it into a setting that they put a lot of love and attention into and made it interesting. But overall, it's the same mechanics throughout the whole thing. So I'm not surprised that Ghosts of Yoita or I'm not surprised that when they said they were going to make a second game, that they went with that same formula that had already worked before. And to be honest, it's, in my opinion, it looks like it's working. We don't have official numbers, right? Anything could come out when the official numbers come out. But I think they have a banger on their hands in terms of profit revenue and all that for them.
Type of game. Simon Cardy of IGN penned an op-ed recently that was titled, "I'm bored of every PlayStation game telling
Yeah,
the same
they milked the shit out of The Last of Us too.
same story." And I don't agree with that headline because I think it's pretty easily disproven, but I do agree with the vibe that I'm
What did
getting
you say there?
that was titled "Class Combat" for this type of game. Simon Cardy of IGN penned an op-ed recently that was titled, "I'm bored of every PlayStation game telling the same story." And I don't agree with that headline because I think it's pretty easily disproven, but I do agree with the vibe that I'm guessing possessed him when he sat down to write that. Ghost of Yotei is defined by the familiar feeling it evokes. The one where even though you're experiencing something new, your brain is telling you that you have seen this before. It's generic revenge story, it's lifeless characters, it's unchanged open world structure, and it's familiar combat. Ghost of Yotei cements Ghost of Tsushima as the zenith of this genre. And unless studios are willing to remix things a hell of a lot more than this, then it's going to be all downhill from here.
I think that's going to come down to sales, because if this game does, anywhere near the numbers that they're talking about, and they make a ton of money off of it, even if it didn't break records like Ghost of Tsushima did, it's there. The formula is there, right? Oh, we've done it now. Let's do it one more time. And you can hope they'll take criticism of the story and things like that and improve on it for the next one, or maybe even look at this video and go like, hey, maybe we can add something new to the game. But software companies or gaming companies don't want risk. They want solid numbers, and that we'll see what happens in the future. But it looks like from a lot of the non-anti-woke, non-culture war stuff that the game is shaping up to at least have done well.
Ghost of Yotei is the story of Atsu, a girl whose parents are brutally murdered before her eyes by a group of people who seem to enjoy making children suffer for some reason. It's one of the things that never sat right with me about Yotei's storytelling. Its paper-thin narrative regularly reverting to cruelty towards children as a means of upping the dramatic stakes.
Is it?
And cruelty toward children exist in real life. But if you're going to invoke them as a narrative tool in your lighthearted, MA15+ rated AAA open world action adventure game, you need to be pretty careful and clever with how you wield it. Sucker Punch wield that tool as a clumsy cudgel, smashing us over the head repeatedly as they drip-feed reveals of Atsu's family's final moments, painting vivid pictures of monstrous cruelty, only to then spend the remainder of the game's runtime trying to humanize these villains, handing them convenient excuses for their actions so that we're supposed to feel conflicted or something. This is where Tarantino got it right when he penned his opus and one of my top 3 favorite films of all time, Kill Bill. That was the story of a woman murdered by a gang of killers, her family ripped from her in an act of such irredeemable evil that there was no way that any of those people could come back from that. And Tarantino knew that, so he didn't try. When Beatrix came face to face with O-Ren Ishii, O-Ren didn't offer up some sub-story about how her dad didn't love her or how she was just following orders or some shit. She knew what was about to happen and they just got on with it. Bud even says, that woman deserves her revenge and we deserve to die. And yeah, when you murder a pregnant woman during her wedding rehearsal, then that tale of bloody revenge is going to have only one happy ending. But rather than embrace the
Good movie. This almost seems like when Sucker Punch wanted to go tell their own story outside of the realm of what they did, because Ghost of Tsushima is written within the context of the Mongolians attacking the island of Tsushima. So you already have a very interesting backstory that fits in with real life history, and it's easy to write in that revenge plot of a guy who's also trying to save his nation, right? He's trying to save his father, he's trying to save his nation. I haven't beat the game, so I don't know all the endings and everything to it. I've only placed a little way through. I want to play more because of Yotei, but like I can see where it can be a more interesting story than bad guy shows up to village, kills your family. Like it's a D&D background that you have to pull out of the player to get more for your campaign.
The cathartic revenge fantasy that might have worked when your inciting event is based on such malevolent cruelty, Sucker Punch want to turn it into an instructive fable about revenge being bad. And yeah, we know it is. So if you're going to tell us again, then you got to set it up right. When The Last of Us Part 2 dwelt on revenge being bad, it at least had a really compelling starting point. Joel did what he did not out of mindless cruelty or out of revenge, but out of a deep instinctual urge to protect his adopted child. You can understand why a man might do that, and so exploring the ripple effects of that act and the decision to choose to stay locked in a cycle of vengeance when that's the starting point, that's inherently very interesting, even if you don't agree with all the ways that Part 2 did that exploration. But if Last of Us Part 1 ended with Joel gleefully murdering two parents in front of their screaming children, and then murdering both of those children, one by pinning them to a burning tree with a katana through the shoulder, I'm gonna think to myself, Ellie, Joel got what he deserved, and you should go home. If it sounds like I'm dwelling too much on this, it's because Yotei has nothing else other than this one-dimensional, poorly constructed revenge story. The historical backdrop of the Mongol invasion is obviously gone, but there's no other broader historical event to take its place. Similarly, there's no exploration of the samurai code and what it means to abandon one's honor, because Atsu...
I had really thought that with Ghosts, they were going to go on to mainland Japan and do some other, like, stick to that historical aspect, but write a story around a different historical event, maybe. That is not at all what they did.
He isn't a samurai, but there's nothing to replace that either. Atsu is a faceless mercenary who wanders the land as an almost ephemeral presence. She doesn't represent a place since she was displaced from her home at an early age. She doesn't represent a moment in time because she's untethered from societal structures or class roles. She doesn't represent a specific military or martial art tradition since she adopts whatever tools are at hand. Her only quest is against the Yotei Six, and her only arc is a moral one. Is revenge worth it if it means throwing everything else away? The answer will shock you. Shorn of the historical, cultural, and thematic adornments which often define these samurai epics, Ghost of Yotei feels hollow and fungible. Like you could set the same story in the medieval English countryside, and you wouldn't need to change a whole lot.
I will notice. How do you notice how he is not saying anything around the idea of it's just unbelievable for a woman to be slicing down all of these men and blah 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 blah. I do wonder what the third game might be about. For a story's perspective, I hope they go back to that historical aspect, because I think that's what made the first game. That's one of the aspects that made the game really strong, was the backdrop of an actual historical event and the guy going through it.
You wouldn't need to...
While the main character, I don't believe, is a real figure, but you know what I mean by a guy going through it.
Sub in a Viking invasion, or an English king and his court, or a meddlesome clergy, or a burgeoning foreign commercial interest, or anything. You wouldn't need to do any of that Control-C, Control-V, because there's nothing to Control-C. That isn't to say that every feudal Japan era epic needs to tick all of these boxes, but it is notable that Yotei ticks like none of them, and the flimsy revenge tale isn't strong enough to carry Yotei over the line on its own. Ghost of Tsushima's biggest...
Which is another, if that's the case, like, do they have all the stuff in it that they had in the original, like, Tsushima, with, like, the, because I don't remember seeing the marketing for it, but, like, when Tsushima was coming out, there was all the marketing about, like, the, around the picture of being a Japanese film. You could do the black and white, or that color palette that the black and white Japanese films had, samurai movies and all of that kind of love. This feels like excuse me, and this is coming from Skill Up's perspective. I haven't played the game, but he plays games all day, so I can, put some trust in him a lot of times. You have to be careful with all these guys, but yeah, if that's the case, it feels like they might have stepped away from that samurai ideal that Ghost of Tsushima does so well. You feel like a Ronin without a family, trying to get things done in a world where it's been taken over by a foreign power, right? You're having to hide in the woods and move around and things like that because there's foreign Mongols roaming around.
biggest weakness was its storytelling. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't doing too much either. Still, between the Mongol invasion and Jin's revenge story and his personal struggle with his code and his honor, and with a smattering of worthwhile side stories here and there, it ultimately came together well enough. But it was still easily the weakest part of that experience. Earlier I said that Sucker Punch perfected this style of open world game and that there was nowhere else for it to go, but I never said anything about the story. That was far from perfect in Ghost of Tsushima, and there were many places that it could have gone here in Yotai. If Sucker Punch had no plans to...
I like how people can like the first story of the first game and the story of the second game. It's fresh and have debates and what's more interesting to someone. Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting aspect. We've lost a lot of that in the culture war, but I like talking with people about those different things. Like, I liked this in the game. You know, some of the good things that have come out of this Yotai stuff is talking with people in chat about how the mechanic is the same, but how I prefer Ghosts of Tsushima's, or how I think I'll prefer Ghosts of Tsushima's, just because I like the flavor of the stances over the idea of different weapons.
Meaningfully expand the gameplay side of this experience, then priority number 1, 2, and 3 should have been story. Instead, here what we get is a massive downgrade, and had this been stronger, it might have helped you forget that you've already seen and experienced almost all of what Ghost of Yotai has to offer. This is typically the point in the review where I belt out 1,000 words on Yotai's open world design, but the truth is, I really don't have anything new to say about it that I haven't already said of the first game. There are some aesthetic differences, though that's not quite the right word. It's more accurate to say that the veneer of certain activities has been altered or replaced. The substance remains the same. Chasing foxes is a good example. You can still do that here, but now you can also chase wolves who lead you to places where other wolves have been captured, deepening your connection to the wolf that watches over you during your journey.
We're getting this one out of here.
Instead of composing haiku, Atsu now paints using the DualSense's touchpad as a canvas. So you get what I'm saying, right? These things are both technically new, but they don't feel new. They fit within the existing open world design framework without really expanding or improving it. Outside of that, it's all the same stuff. Climbing cliff sides to unlock shrines, bamboo strikes, clearing out enemy camps, and
What? Bamboo strikes is new. Grums, I think.
getting your kid off to take a bath and do some deep thinking.
Mount Yote, the she mountain. I used to greet her every morning.
Now, to be clear, Yotai does what Yubi don't, which is meter out all this stuff in perfect measure and serve it up to you so organically that it never feels like busy work, more like pleasant detours. You'll chart a course toward a main objective when suddenly a little birdie appears beckoning you to follow, or you'll spot a traveler being shaken down, or you'll collide with an occupied village. Yotei's world design is essentially a number of valleys or fields or basins, and that means you can strike out in any direction at any time, and when you do that, you're sure to quickly, very quickly, find something to do. The shortness of these activities and how easy it is to stumble upon them, it all makes them feel quite snackable. It's like Sushi Train, where the little plates of food come to you and you can be like, yeah, I'll have some of that, or no, I'm good. And because it's so effortless, so well portioned, and so tasty, it's a great way to eat. Moderation and convenience are the secret sources of Sucker Punch's open world design. All of this remains as good here in Yotai as it did in Tsushima, but it's no better, and I've already experienced most of this before, and I didn't really enjoy experiencing it again, or at least I enjoyed it way less. One thing I did enjoy more with the
Ubisoft needs to drop the open world formula. Yeah, the problem is now other people have done it better, and they still don't. They don't adjust it. They don't try and improve it. Like, look at, they were the #1 stealth game that was out with Assassin's Creed, and then they get Star Wars for a stealth game, and they completely fucked that up. You know what I mean? It's. I don't know where they go from here, honestly, outside of just doing remakes. I've just learned samurai rarely are pork. I assume you mean ate pork, and it only became common when Europeans pushed Western customs. Yeah, of course, those fat motherfuckers. It's not working for them anymore. It was cool for a while, but yeah. Well, you know, open world. I remember Ubisoft kind of always being on top of the open world game because they were always making it bigger and bigger and bigger. But then, you know, they weren't adding anything more into that large world. That was the biggest critique. Like, what was it called? The Roman one. Odyssey. So when Odyssey came out, it was marketed as the largest open world game that was ever made. And, you know, in a way that was true. But then when it finally came out, people were like, well, there's fucking tons of walking to do anything because there's nothing to do in this huge open world. And that was kind of the start of the decline of that open world thing. It's still a thing. People love traveling through beautiful landscapes, but if you don't put anything interesting in it to discover, then what's it worth? Like, here's the way that I look at it. Like, what Ubisoft will do is they give you a map and show you where everything is, right? You may have to go to a tower and climb up and jump off of it, but once you've done that, you know where everything is on the map. When you go on to Red Dead Redemption, they don't give you shit on the map. You just go and you run into stuff. You find things. I stumbled onto the ghost in the swamp by accident while my kids were watching me go around hunting. You know, so there was mystery. Even Bethesda was known for you just like walking in any direction and finding some cave to go into or something to do, versus pointing and clicking on the map that you do with Ubisoft and then running to that location. There's no mystery. There's nothing to discover. It's all given to you and you're just traveling from point to point.
Weapon training side quests.
What? All right, I just arrived. So are you AFK or muted again? Are you serious, Simon? This guy, I'm letting y'all get too mouthy in chat. So I may have to start like timing some people out here soon. Open world is a tricky formula. Only a few can get it right. Yeah, it is. It's people love the idea of open world, but as we've seen recently, or as we've seen for years, open world can become a walking simulator very quickly.
These are each tied to a region, and you go and find some weapons master who's living in hiding. They'll be reluctant to train you at first, but eventually you'll get them on side. Learning the dual katana was perhaps the best one, because Sucker Punch had managed to gamify the 1980s training montage in a way that no other video game had been able to do. The way the difficulty of the task was calibrated to denote the strength of my left arm, and how I could see and feel myself getting steadily better as the sensei trained me was a really great moment. Later quests would involve me solving problems throughout the region, with those quests giving me access to new techniques and weapon upgrades. It felt very fitting for a journey of this type. Less impressive were Sucker Punch's attempts at puzzles. One of the regions sees you chasing a member of the Yotei 6 known as the Kitsune, and they're meant to be a tricksy fox reliant on subterfuge and misdirection. The way that Sucker Punch tries to sell you on this is that the Kitsune has left puzzles all throughout the region, but they're so mind-numbingly basic that I found myself infuriated by them.
Ooh.
Cocomelon level brain teasers here, where putting any and all thought into them is to give them far too much credit. I bristle at these sorts of puzzles because it's like, is this a game for children or adults? Like, you have to pick.
Oh yeah, your headset was off, was it? For once, I'm not the one looking like a dumbass. Yeah, I mean, I feel like in a lot of puzzle games in AAA, we're getting like just like, I'm not asking for Blueprint's level of puzzle games, right? But I would like to feel a little, stuck at times. Like, I would like it to be frustrating to do at least a little, so I can feel like I accomplished something. and like, you look at games like what was another one? Dragon Age, the Veilguard. It doesn't even look like, it looks like they put in placeholders for their puzzles and then just decided we'll just keep it as is.
If I'm watching scenes of children being gruesomely murdered, then I guess you want me to take this thing seriously. But if you're asking me to solve puzzles that your average preschooler would breeze through, then what are we doing here? I know it sounds like a small gripe blown out of proportion, but Yotei and Ghost of Tsushima as well are experiences that are designed in such a way that you never really have to think. It's that sushi train design of the open world coming to you rather than you going to it. So it's notable that the one time Ghosts of Yotei does ask you to think, it basically assumes that you can't. In closing out this block of world design, I want to be really clear about why I sound so down on it. It's not that it's bad, it's great in fact. And had I been experiencing all of this for the first
It's not bad, it's great, in fact. Like, he's giving very valid criticisms that I could agree with. I think there's a lot of people who are playing Ghosts of Yotei, and if I had a PlayStation, I would be one of them, that are playing it and loving it just for the fact that it is another Ghosts game, right? We'll talk about, the story. People may or may not like the story. That's always going to be a different thing because it always comes down to taste in the end. But he's not saying Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yotei is a bad game. He's saying it's a great game, but falls flat in a lot of areas. Falls flat in innovation and storytelling.
first time, I'm sure I would have loved this because I loved it in Tsushima, but it's the same. And I actually would have been okay with that had the story delivered. You probably know this about me already if you've watched enough of my reviews, but I don't view games as a sum of their pros and cons. If a game can get something really, really right, then I'm on board and I focus on that thing, and my brain kind of forgives or ignores a lot of what sits around that thing. Silent Hill F is, again, the perfect example, but if there's nothing like that, nothing that really hooks me and that can soak up my attention, then my complaints become much more generalized because I have more time to think about all the reasons I'm not enjoying something. Yotei's world design is no better or worse than Tsushima's, but without having a satisfying, rewarding plot to pull me through that world, I looked around and thought to myself, I've done all this before.
Again, here's another one. No better and no worse. It's all for him. He doesn't like the story that's going in there, and he was hoping for innovation with the gaming industry. Now, one thing you got to think of with someone like SkillUp is this guy plays games for a living. He does reviews on just, all the games he can that are coming out, with whatever is possible. So he's more in tuned to the similarities of these games than, say, your average gamer would be, right? It would be you might have picked up Ghosts and haven't really played another game outside of Call of Duty until the next Ghost games come out, and not even really remember everything you did with that because you didn't make a whole video on it. You played the game and you liked it, and you'll go into it and say, hey, it's not bad. It's a lot of the same stuff. This is what I was looking for. Where he is been giving critiques about the games and how they should improve, and he wants to see improvement, and then the same game comes out, but with a story that he just doesn't enjoy or doesn't like. It sounds pretty based down.
And I'm not
Much different to the game as a flop.
really in the mood to do it again. The foundations of combat in Ghosts of Yotei are just as strong as they were in Ghosts of Tsushima, and I'd argue that they're even stronger here. The biggest difference is that Atsu is now able to wield up to 5 weapons, seamlessly switching between them to counter enemy weaknesses. The term rock, paper, scissors gets thrown around a lot. I think you'll struggle to find a review of Yotei that doesn't use that term, but that's because it's 100% accurate. Dual katanas beat polearms beat kusurigama beats shields, Odachi beats brutes, and katanas beat, well, katanas. These new weapons do open up space for unique combos and maneuvers that make the already strong combat framework better. You can drive a polearm into an opponent's chest to skewer them before seamlessly switching to a katana for a charged, unsheathing attack. There's also quickfire weapons like kunai and smoke bombs and a pistol, so you can weave those into your flow such that you're attacking both near and far, clashing steel before suddenly vanishing into a cloud of smoke. It is cool as hell, both in terms of how it looks and how it feels. We talk a lot about the Sony movie game and we think that's all about cutscenes. There's another dimension to that that's often overlooked: cinematic action. The way that combat is framed in games like Horizon and God of War and Yotei looks incredible, but there's no sacrificing playability to achieve those results. This is not style over substance, it's style and substance. It isn't as deep or demanding as more niche offerings, but it's just the right mix of accessibility versus complexity. And while I wasn't invested in Yotei's story and its open world wasn't doing anything I hadn't experienced before, combat encounters were always something I look forward to, and even now I'd happily boot up Yotei again just to feel the weight of the blade in Atsu's hand.
I think that's what I liked about one thing I really loved about Tsushima is it was getting like it's a kind of fast paced game, but it's not like a button masher. You're wanting to switch seamlessly between your stances to be able to take down various enemies while it's going through, and you can feel like an absolute badass while you're doing it, or you can be fighting like some of these one-on-one battles and feel like you're on a knife's edge from dying, or even die several times before you get the successful playthrough that you want. I'll play Yote when it comes out on PC, but I am not super hyped because it's so similar to Tsushima. I was hoping for more new stuff, but I know I'm still enjoy it. Yeah, that's so. I was, even if it was a blast out hit and there was some major changes made to it, I still wouldn't have picked it up until it came out for PC. It's still probably going to be a pickup for me in a year when it comes out for PC because the first one is so good. Now that's also one that I'll have to actually beat one day before I die. But yeah, I mean, I get it.
While the fundamentals of combat are strong as hell, the itemization and progression are real missed opportunities, I think. Take upgrading your weapon, for example. Mostly it's just collecting some resources laying around each region and then damage goes up. Your weapon doesn't get any new capabilities or status effects or whatever when
that's a good
number go up. Where the game does try to offer more variation is with armor, but it doesn't really land either. I played this game for 40 hours and I never really found a single armor set that I was truly happy with except for the samurai looking one. But I don't want my Atsu to look like a samurai because she looks cool as hell in the Ronin kit. But there was no way to change the look of my gear separate from its bonuses, so I was stuck wearing an armor set that I didn't really like. Other armor sets I'd unlock all had big annoying trade-offs or pointless bonuses that made them unappealing. I suppose the intention was that you'd put up with that stuff and compensate for it with charms that give you additional bonuses. But again, a lot of them were just kind of pointless filler, stuff that gave me bonuses in very, very specific circumstances rather than more broad-based utility. With 5 distinct weapon types, I would have loved an itemization system that let me really specialize with 1 or 2 weapons, but there just aren't enough options across the itemization pool to allow for that. I suppose that's by design though, since the rock, paper, scissors combat design wants you to switch between weapons instead of just riding a favorite, but even then, some more agency in buildcraft would have been nice. It's funny because the itemization...
See, I still think with my thing that like the first game was rock, paper, scissors. 100%. It just wasn't done with different weapons. It was done with different forms. And I still like the way that looks better. If you're one of talking about that samurai experience, you don't remember the samurai movie where the samurai had a full kit of weapons. You remember the lone swordsman going around, fighting his enemies and slaying them. And that's kind of the experience I got with Tsushima. But it is what it is.
Is a massive step back versus what was offered in the Ghost of Tsushima Legends mode, which came out after the initial release of Tsushima all those years ago. That was a PvE co-op add-on that allowed you to specialize into specific combat roles, and the itemization underpinning that experience was surprisingly deep. Now, it's a totally different framework there, so you couldn't lift and drop it here in Yote, but the depth and the complexity and the agency would have been nice if Yote had its own version of that, and it doesn't. Something similar can be said of character progression, where the various skill trees aren't really about picking specific perks to create a build, they're more just about picking all of the perks so that you can steadily unlock everything. Again, a narrower but deeper set of options.
I've gotten to the point that I hate, why even let me choose different skills if I can have all of the skills? Just do a basic level up system where I get stronger or something like that. Like I like builds, right? I like to build a character. I'm not good at it, but I like to build a character of what I want to think. I don't like when being at the end of the game and being the master of everything.
That demanded some decision making and trade-offs would have made for a more engaging and personalized combat experience, allowing you to craft an Atsu that was uniquely yours while also encouraging
Yeah, I think the argument with Yote, it could be it's more of an action movie than Tsushima. Yeah, Tsushima was action movies, but it was like a love letter to the Japanese samurai movies that were around at the same time that the United States was making its cowboy western films, right? That was the love letter that was into it. Where this one feels like another. When you're fighting with all those weapons, you're just another character with a bunch of weapons in an RPG game.
Additional playthroughs if you're into that sort of thing. But look, consistent with what I said earlier, Sucker Punch really nailed the combat.
And I super like my big thing that I said after Ghosts of Tsushima was a success, at least to myself and talking about it with friends, was that I wanted to see the next historical thing that they went to. I wanted to, and that's what a lot of people were talking about. You know, what's the next historical area that they're going to go to with it? And the answer was none, which I feel like is like a basis for what the people were loving about the original game. Even if you didn't know anything about that war, which I didn't until after I found out where it was set, and I went and looked stuff up about it. But it doesn't look like there's anything to look up here. It's about, you know, a completely separated story with no historical value in it at all.
But in Tsushima, and they've nailed it again here in Yotei. So I'm not too bothered by these progression and itemization issues. The new weapons, the expanded roster of enemies, the quickfire weapons, and the side quests associated with unlocking new techniques all make for a more robust experience, true improvements on a combat model that already felt like it couldn't get much better.
Please don't get involved.
Find every last member of the Yotei Six.
Okay, so let's wrap up this review. Firstly, it would be very unfair of me not to mention how breathtakingly beautiful Ghosts of Yotei is. Like, it's just staggeringly stunning, and no YouTube video can do it justice. Seeing this on your own hardware, big screen TV, HDR, mate, it is just unbelievable. As a PC main, it's the kind of game that makes me go, you know what, console fans? I get it. When you can enjoy something that looks this good and runs this well on a device that costs, you know, $750 tops, and you don't need to worry about
Hey, what's going on, K-Man? I'm glad. We're going to get to Endymion in just a second once we finish up Skill Up's video, which has already been shown that they're lying about his video. It was showed that they were lying about it within the first, like, minute.
the hassle that comes with PC gaming. I get it. It wouldn't make me a console main, but I get it. And it's almost humbling to see what Sucker Punch have delivered here when so many other games look worse and run worse on hardware that is far, far more expensive. The soundtrack, man, Atsu carries a shamisen with her, and in addition to playing songs throughout the game, the soundtrack is heavily leveraged into this instrument, and frankly, it's incredible. It's not background listening like so many other soundtracks are. The percussive nature of the shamisen brings it to the forefront during chase sequences and combat duels, and it's just a brilliant stylistic choice that gives Yotei its own identity and its own fingerprint. In the future, when I think back to what it was like to play through Yotei, I think the first thing I'm going to recall is the strum of the shamisen as I crossed swords or followed a wolf or just sat quietly on a cliffside. The shamisen stands out as a defining part of Yotei not only because of its inherent identity, but also because there are very few other aspects of Yotei that manage to leave any mark at all. Atsu's tale of revenge begins suddenly, and the brutality of its inciting incident is at odds with the rest of the game's tone or the message it tries to impart with its awkward storytelling. There's no broader historical drama to serve as backdrop, no societal or cultural reflections. Cast of characters you meet are mainly vendors, but for a very small handful of characters who play a central role in your story, and while these characters can have their moments, they aren't strong enough to make up for Yotei's wafer-thin plot. From a gameplay perspective, Ghosts of Yotei's combat improvements are notable, but it's the underlying brilliance of the combat model that stands out most. It survives a second outing where the world design does not. Yotei may be set in a different location, but it feels the same as the previous game, and the cosmetic additions or changes can't offset that niggling, ever-present feeling that you've seen and done all of this before. When Ghost of Tsushima burst onto the scene, it was held up as the anti-Ubisoft game. It seemed like it was a response to all of the frustrations we had with Ubisoft's open world design model, as its pacing, moderation, and convenience all felt like a breath of fresh air. In contrast, Ghost of Yotei feels like the quintessential Ubisoft game, not in its design philosophy, but in the sense that a studio found a really good formula, and so they just pushed out another one without any real change or innovation.
Oh, that's a deep cut for Sucker Punch right there. Yeah, it's like they made a perfect game and then you just copied and pasted it. I mean, I don't know what people. I never thought when I heard about Yotei coming out that it was going to be a different game, a safe sequel. Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. Red Stain, a safe sequel, because that's what these AAA companies want, right? I think they should have stuck more to the historical side of it. And everything else that the anti-woke are talking about, like the woman beating the shit out of people, that's fine. I don't care. There's plenty of female characters that are tough and strong and all of this other stuff. A woman with a sword and some weapons beating up a bunch of people doesn't make a fuck. But yeah, it's that's a pretty big duck saying you're heading in the same direction as fucking Ubisoft. Oh god.
recommendation for Yote is similar to my recommendation for Assassin's Creed Shadow. This is a good game, but you know what it is, and you've played it before, and if you're excited by the prospect of playing it again, you are going to enjoy yourself. But if you're looking for something new, you won't find it here. And I'll say again what I said back in 2020. Ghost of Tsushima perfected this formula. There is no
And that's he's about to say that again. That's the reason that I never picked up Assassin's Creed Shadows. Is it was after Odyssey. I was like, I'm done. This is just like, I enjoyed Odyssey. I hated the way that they tried to, do some of the things from like Black Flag, but it really just made the game more grindy. But I have said there isn't much that has made me want to come back to an Ubisoft game, because it's copy and paste. And while some people have made note that they haven't done some improvements on the stealth mechanics, which is the grounds that they're with me, a lot of that was like too little too late. I still think the game did well. I think it did very well, much better than they were hoping for. But yeah, it's kind of like Ubisoft's burned that bridge. Sucker Punch, we need you to not do that by just making the same game over and over and over again 100 times. Man, my thing is not working today.
nowhere
Whoops.
else to take it. Yote proves that. So I hope the developers can barrel towards new frontiers, because we don't need more of these games. We have enough of them already, and I hope that the talent and resources that these studios possess can be put towards creating new things that we've never experienced before, rather than slightly remixing games we've already played.
Personally, with them too, like I said earlier, I don't mind the slightly remixing of a game if they've perfected the formula for this, and that's the game that I want to go into, and that's obviously the game a lot of people want to go into, then that's fine. Yeah, maybe I think there's some things they shouldn't have taken out. The setting should have been different. I'll have to play to agree with him or not agree with him on the story, but yeah, definitely not the scathing review that it was made out to be. So now we're going to get into the meat, get into the title. Now that we've debunked that little lie, which is they've been getting shown off all over the internet. It looks like even Asmongold may be doing it. So there's this thing that happens in the anti-woke circles where they talk about all of their insiders and this and that. I wouldn't mind an infamous 1 and 2 port. There's actually, I'll talk about something here in a minute. Well, no, let's talk about it now before I forget. So I was watching a video on, I forget who it was that I was watching, but there was a study done on remakes and what's going on, and remakes right now are what's pretty much selling the best. And it was something like, oh god, it was like 80 or 90%, I can't remember right now, of the people who were playing the remakes were like new players who had never played the old one. It was kind of crazy, and how people were like, it's almost like a safe bet for gamers. I'll have to pull up with a video one time on stream, because I know I'm not saying justice for it. It was just very interesting numbers on why remakes are getting done so often, and how they are kind of becoming the safe way to make money for the AAA industry. But anyway, there's this thing that happens with the anti-wokers where they will talk about their sources and these sources and that sources. But when you really start to look at it, it tends to be themselves, or they say they have insiders and then come to be proven that they don't even know how to vet their insiders. Or they cite their own shitty articles as their source. Like Master of TDS is one of these people where his wife makes articles, and then he uses that same group or even the same articles as sources for their stuff. And now we've got Indy coming in saying that he knows for certain that Ghost of Yotai is a flop, and he's going to tell us what and why. So we're going to listen to him because he's been getting dragged all over the internet for it, and see what we got.
As the title reads, I've officially gained information from
Yeah, the whole sources and insiders is just trust me, bro.
sources on whether Ghost of Yote has sold well or not in its first very crucial week of release. But a few caveats and such before I get there. Firstly, these numbers are digital only, so no physical sales, although I'll get into those after a bit later on too. Secondly, the numbers that I was given are only for all of Europe, United States of America, and Canada combined, which, let's be real, those are the biggest markets for games like a Sony first party game anyway, so this means that the numbers that I was given are still, well, pretty bleak. Okay, with that.
But where's he? Like, no one else has given numbers on the US, on Canada, on any of these places. So far, the only numbers that I've seen come out for countries have been Germany, France, Japan. That's the three I can think of. There may have been one more, and it's number one in all those countries. So why is the US and Canada going to be so much different?
Out of the way, what do you think? 2 million copies? 3? Maybe 5 million copies? The official number for Ghost of Yote's digital sales for its first week as of this video anyways is 1.1 million copies sold so far. Yep, it's bleak. It's actually not good at all, and I already know me saying this out loud is going to piss off every single defender of this game.
So here's my thing. When we get into this, what makes 1.1 million sold on the first day bad? I got into it with a bot, I'm pretty sure, who, the guy was saying, like, comparing the game to the Pokemon release in Japan. And I was like, you can't compare those two games. They're in completely different brackets of AAA, right? You're talking about the mega company that is Nintendo selling one of their flagship games. Yeah, it's going to. Sony is also known, and we were talking about physical sales at that time. Nintendo is also known for their more physical sales. They're probably, I would guess, I haven't seen any statistics, but I want to most guess that while everyone else's is dropping rapidly, theirs is dropping less rapidly than everyone else, right? They're at least trying to push the drop, but they are big on it. So you can't, like, what comparison are you making to this title? Is it Tsushima? Hopefully bring it up.
Given this information
Marketing and budgeting is why they think it's bad, probably.
directly from people who have all the access and such to this sort of information, so it's very
With their logic, every game is a failure or trash because it didn't sell as well as GTA 5. Yeah, that's kind of how it ends up going, right? They're like, oh, it's a AAA game. It should have sold this many. Well, by your metric, Ghost of Tsushima was a failure, right? And here, let's go back because he just said something
out loud is going to piss off every single defender of this game. But I was given this information directly from people who have all the access and such to this sort of information, so it's verified and it's not looking good, fellas. But I was also given more. Firstly, Yote in its first week, based on data, has sold 40% more than Tsushima digitally. But this is likely due to the goodwill that Tsushima built as the start of the franchise.
What did he say there?
Digitally, but this is likely due to not looking good, fellas. But I was also given more. Firstly, Yote in its first week, based on data, has sold 40% more than Tsushima digitally, but this is likely due to the goodwill that Tsushima built as the start of the
What? The reason why Final Fantasy 16 didn't sell a lot is because of Square Enix ridiculous expectations. Yeah, that's kind of how it went with a lot of Square Enix and things like that. Square Enix was also still in the realization that first party wasn't. They were expecting to get the PC numbers anyway after a year, and I don't think they really did, and I don't think they really have from it. I think I think if they would have sold PlayStation and PC day one, they would have gotten a lot better numbers, be in a lot better position, right?
The franchise 5 years ago. From what I was also told, in most big places in the world for comparison, Tsushima was a pretty even 50-50 split with physical and digital sales. However, for Yote in Europe, it's looking more like 70% digital, 30% physical these days. Which is not surprising considering that most games sold these days are usually via digital sales anyways, let's be honest. And from these people's professional opinions, the general consensus that I was given is that they are looking at Yote's first week sales as not bad to somewhat disappointed, but they frankly believe that it should have done way better than it has already. In their expert opinions, they talk.
Who are these experts though? Like right now you're doing Trust Me Bro. Who are these experts that are supposedly telling you? Because now it's not saying he's an insider. Right now he's telling me he's talked to experts about this that are on the inside. We're going back a little bit. This may
70% digital, 30% Star Wars to give this sort of info. I was Cops for his first week bar. He is going to pin people who have all the access and such to this sort of information. Was given this information directly from people who have all the access and such to this sort of information.
I was given this information from people who have all the access and such. Who are these people? Skill up is hit or miss for me. I agree in most cases. Like I said, I don't agree with a lot of, like, when you're looking at his playthrough, like that we just watched. Yeah, I probably will play it. I have become addicted to that game. I became a little kid back in the day playing, I don't remember which Digimon games I did play. I played a couple of them. But anyway, like, who are these people that are giving him the info? He just says that these experts, they don't sound like they're insiders. Hey, what's going on, Goro? They don't sound like insiders at all.
So it's verified and it's not looking good, fellas. But I was also given more. Firstly, Yote in its first week, based on data, has sold 40% more than Tsushima digitally. But this is likely due to the goodwill that Tsushima built as the start of the franchise 5 years ago. From what I was also told, in most big places in the world.
Okay, it's sold more digitally, but less physically, which would stand up with the same thing you just are about to say, how digital has been going down physical has been going down and digital has been going up, right?
For comparison, Tsushima was a pretty even 50-50 split with physical and digital sales. However, for Yote in Europe, it's looking more like 70% digital, 30% physical these days. Which is not surprising considering that most games sold these days are usually via digital sales anyways, let's be honest. And from these people's professional
you just said it right there.
The general consensus that I was given is that they are looking at Yote's first week sales as not bad to somewhat disappointed. But they frankly believe that it should have done way better than it has already. In their expert opinions, they told me that Tsushima sold slightly less than Yote in its first week, but it's not exactly a good sign because Tsushima was an unknown new franchise at the time, so naturally it's expected that when a new franchise has a crazy start like Tsushima did, which let's look at that data from 5 years ago if you don't mind, as seen here from Sony themselves 5 years ago, Tsushima was the fastest selling new IP in Sony's history at the time with 2.4 million units sold in its first week. Yote has not sold.
Ghost of Tsushima is now PS4's fastest selling first party original IP debut within more than 2.4 million units sold globally in the first 3 days. It broke records. Games don't break records consistently time over time, right?
Anywhere near that, unfortunately, for them. It's actually probably about half of that. Again, that 1.1 million units is for digital only, but again, digital is the strongest sell for most games, and the fact that Sony was barely able.
Also, I want to make note, he's saying digital only. I have yet to see any data on digital only. The only data that has come out which isn't even from Sony, has been about physical. There are, I guess, recently the data that they are saying, this alien person that came out said that I think it was 2 point something is what their predictions were. of it coming out, but no one has come out and said anything really up until this point about the digital sales.
able to break just over
Yes, plus not everyone cared about PS5. True.
1 million copies sold, and arguably their 3 biggest markets that cover most of the planet is, well, let's be real guys, not good at all. There's a reason why Sucker Punch and Sony have been so
The thing is like you can tell by just listening to Indy, he really has no idea what he's talking about. He doesn't like I'm a layman and I'm a retard in these things, and I know that I'm a layman and a retard. So I have to try and look at everything critically and take it with a grain of salt. But Indy acts like this is all. Whenever he hears the numbers he wants to hear, he just goes all in on it. Yeah, exactly. This is what's going on.
quietly on Yote. It's because based on that data, the game is not necessarily a flop. I wouldn't say that yet, but it's also not doing gangbusters or splitting the heavens or anything either. The saving grace
Well, what's gangbusters or splitting the heavy? Yeah, it's not breaking records. That's kind of, yeah, we would agree that it's not going to break the fastest game record on there, but is it going to be a success? Like, here's the thing: he's setting it up right now for when the numbers come out and they're successful. He'll be like, well, I said it wasn't, breaking records, but it was, I always said it was going to sell. I always said it was going to sell. When they're not. They're making up shit and then flipping a coin on what happens. And the fact is they're flipping that coin into a fucking used toilet and then trying to pull it out to see if they can find 2 coins.
for Yote, though, is that it was made on the cheaper side, around
What's going on, Grizzle? We are watching Endymion and his shit takes on gaming.
$60 to $66 million in budget or so, which I know is still a lot of money for you or me, but when it comes to AAA games, that's nothing compared to what they usually cost. Call of Duty titles usually cost around $400 million plus per game to make it if you want other AAA comparisons. Spider-Man 2 was $300 million as well, which is probably a better comparison since it's also Sony. But Yote has not done Spider-Man numbers or God of War or even
But even then, you have to be, when you're looking at all this data, you can't just compare them based off of the company they're with. Spider-Man and Ghost of Tsushima are selling to different markets. They're both open world games. One's going to sell to the superhero genre more. One is selling the samurai aesthetic. You have to look at the company that made them. You have to look at everything around it. Like they're going to give more money to companies that are, let's say, the Spider-Man franchise to pour more into it. Where a game like Sucker Punch, or a company like Sucker Punch, who I don't think have ever been super large, have always kept their games at this relatively cheaper operating cost, which has shown that they make a better game without having to spend $300 million. So by his logic, like, they're a better company because they can make a same quality game and go with it. You need to find something that's in the same range as them. And even then, if your success is 100% bought by how much money they make, Sony has said that they're already paid for the game, and now everything from then on is profit.
Horizon. If any of Sony's franchises that costed more in line with what AAA usually does, and they also only sold about 1.1 million copies in about a week, you would be expecting layoffs and then some, because let's be real, it's pretty horrible.
You want to hang and call? Come on, we'll do it. I'm exhausted, so I may need you to do commentary for me. Also, you can change up things. The gameplay gets worse. A good example is Bayonetta 3 compared to Bayonetta 2. Okay, I've actually never played the Bayonetta series, so I can't tell you if that comparison is good or not. I'll say that, like, growing up as a kid, I've never believed in the idea that a female game character is like weaker or anything like that. But I have always preferred games that had male centrist characters because I self-insert myself into just about everything that I play. What are y'all doing? Close here. I'm on a. You should be able to do. Oh, I got to get in. Where am I? live stream. Pop on in when you're ready, Grizzle. Oh yeah, Silent F and Yotai are different. Yeah, I agree. Well, he's trying to base it based off of the story when that was in there. Now, let's see.
From the people I
Hello.
spoke to of that
Oh,
shared
hey, bud.
information.
Hold on, I just messed that all up.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I
I'm
need to get that.
Huh?
My current characters on screen.
Oh yeah.
Another one.
Oh, it pulls up whatever is set. Why is it not pulling up that one then?
Discord.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can.
That's my other identity.
The other identity. Why?
Because I have it set to a different on the server.
It's gonna pick whatever's. I think it's gonna pick up whatever is in the server. If you want,
an idea.
yeah, I can send you. Okay.
Yeah. So that's not hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything tonight. I'm like, oh, you're on. I'm gonna hang. Just
Yeah, I actually didn't dip out on a Friday this time. I didn't get any sleep last night. Here I was saying it at the beginning of the chat, but it was still quiet because I usually don't skip out. I skip out on Fridays. I went to my computer yesterday and I was looking at stuff, and I was looking at like a couple of games that people had sent me for like finding the woke. And I came across the Digimon game, and I was like, oh, it has a demo. Cool. Let's play the demo real quick. Yeah, it has a free, yeah. And so I played the demo, and then I bought the game, and then I downloaded the game, and then I played till 1 o'clock in the morning. So, but yeah. So I'm tired right now, but we're going to push through it and go from here. Oh, there you are.
Also, it works. Yay!
It's
also
hey,
transparent.
I'll send you the website that the React is to, and I think if you're set up on there, it'll bring up whatever you have set up for it, because it attaches to Discord, and so whatever is attached to your Discord is what it brings up.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to.
Our best friend Andy.
Endymion. Damage sent to me a picture later that we'll see at the end, but I forgot that I make an appearance in his videos. Pretty much all of them now.
He is passionate in his hatred for this game, though.
Yeah. Well, it's the same. It's the exact same formula that he was using for. What happened to? Am I in the wrong? Hold on. I'm in reading. Personal Microsoft Edge, Ghost of Yotai.
Oh.
What the heck did you do, bud? Oh, it did something. Here we go.
Not be able to see Majima anymore correctly.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. This should be it right here. It was on the wrong page. But anyway, right now he's trying to compare, bro. Not everything needs to be overly unique. Are you still back at the beginning of the video, Guro? I think
it's kind of nice to just watch at the start.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't have a problem with it. It was just funny. Like I was seeing him say things, and now that I'm looking at the order that things are going, yeah, he's talking about the other stuff. But this comparison to me is shit. Like you're talking about the size of companies in comparison and what they make, and their reach is way different. But let's keep going.
With me originally, they do think that Yote, in their opinion, costed more because open world games generally cost more to make than any other type of game these days due to the sheer scope of them. But Sucker Punch was very smart, at least, to reuse assets aplenty, not to mention setting their game back in Japan again.
Okay, but this is dumb. Then by that logic, the Ghost of Tsushima should have been 300 million because it's such a wide breadth and scope. They made the game with what, 60 million? The first game within 60 million.
That's kind of a guess too.
Yes.
Actually, there's never been a solid thing. It's just that all the business insiders that
Have
talked
said
about
that.
it they've mentioned that they set a goal to not be that different in terms of their price range.
Yeah.
internally.
Right, exactly.
So it's probably 60, 70, I would guess.
Yeah, that would be my guess too. But the fact that is like, well, they're reusing assets. Yeah, so does every game that's making the next game in the series, right? Why would you start from scratch? Yeah, exactly. You may change up some of the trees to, make it different, but you'll definitely take the same character models and just change the art on them. But so,
obviously improved.
yeah,
Absolutely
definitely.
improved.
Yeah, I've seen it with the ray tracing videos and stuff like it. It looks like it's a beautiful game, and the first one was beautiful. Beyond dumb, but it's also indie, so it shouldn't be a surprise. Oh yeah, absolutely. Indie was the first I realized just has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to the game industry.
Which
Yeah,
obviously
he
allows
runs on spite.
Yeah, he does run on spite now. I mean, this just sounds exactly like indie during Assassin's Creed Shadows. And I don't even
Spoiled shit in that too.
Yeah, he did. So he's just on the same rotation. And you were there when I was talking about legendary drops and how it's just like the same videos over and over and over again. And that's they're the same guy. Indie is just more anti-woke than legendary drops is. So
to reuse pretty much everything from
Side
Tsushima as well. But
Some leak. I'm such a big Fallout fan, and I'm seeing them sell statues clearly from season 2, and like, oh, the Death Claw looks so good. It's gonna look good on TV.
I can't buy a statue or anything like that. I have to be able to paint it myself.
I'd rather a figure.
Yeah.
All right, back to indie.
Yep.
again, Yote has sold roughly half or less of that than what Tsushima has in the same time
What's funny is
period,
she's not even
despite being
samurai
a sequel with
either.
apparently
Yeah,
goodwill
she isn't.
and a roaring start that Tsushima plays.
She's literally
forth.
one of
The easiest
those
layup of all time,
warrior
but this is
women
how it's gone, I
that are
guess.
rare,
Now I know
but they
people will
do happen.
Yeah. Well, listening to it over the story, like I can come up with some agreements because I see Guro's in that thing where it's like it's a tired trope, the revenge story. But then I think again, this is all stuff that I have to play it for myself. But like what made Tsushima good was it's a love letter to the old samurai movies from back in the day, right? 3D printers, bitch, invest. Go ahead.
Also, people really like from what I keep hearing, the major pluses also the side quests are really good in this.
Yeah.
So, that's to me what makes the world more enjoyable to be in. Kind of supersedes even like it's just a solid story. Also,
yeah. Am I? But yeah, I agree. If the stuff around you makes the world feel more lived in, but you're not forced into it, then yeah, it's generally a good thing. Let's keep going.
Say it's the right-wing grifters' fault, but let's be real, guys. Not everyone watches YouTube.
There are very few people saying it's the right-wing grifters' fault, and those people who are saying it's the right-wing grifters' fault are stupid. They're just the right-wing grifters are just being the right-wing grifters, and we're calling them out for it, is what it generally comes down to, right? They didn't cause the failures of the games that have been failures. They were failures of their own right, and the anti-woke just capitalized off of it.
Yeah. They got their backing and legitimacy off of very easy things you could possibly have seen coming.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like deep, in-depth research.
Velgar was probably the most solid one in terms of like unfortunate. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, Veilguard was definitely what I consider the most easily determinable to be like. You could say woke ruined the game in a way it was.
That my opinion on that one is people did defend it probably to death, but I don't think people understood that. Like in a bubble, if you were to say like it was made in the 4 years of time that that version of the game was, it probably would have been passable financially.
Yeah, yeah.
There was literally 3 games worth of budget of 10 years going. It was doomed.
Yeah, but there was also that was around what 2014 is when Inquisition came out, and the
Unfortunately,
yeah, yeah,
long ago.
and I shouldn't have said that. I hurt my feelings. Uh, After Dreadwolf was announced, there was a big uphill amongst like the Gamergate community people because the lead artist, I believe it was, stated that he was going to put as much of his politics into the game as he could possibly do. Very
Oh
lefty,
yeah,
very wokey guy. So like there, from beginning to end, there has been that thing in it.
yeah. It should have just been quiet because it never really played out either.
Yeah.
Because as someone who's gotten, let me see on my, I have Velgard. I have 99 hours in that game.
Oh wow.
There's probably like 3 hours of it that is considered 3 hours. It was 3 hours of it that you probably saw flood on YouTube like nonstop.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And I figured it would be, with those things. It's always generally overblown, but
Yeah.
it
The
would,
problem was like there was no good bad guy options
yeah.
because I'm convinced that they just didn't have time.
I don't know. So part of me is convinced that yeah, they didn't have time because they pushed the game. They just kept pushing the game out. It was, I mean, you look at any game.
Gator.
Hmm.
David Gator is my biggest tell for that
Hmm.
because he was talking about it, saying that like when they were doing Origins up to like Inquisition, only like 4% of people truly actually chose any of the bad guy routes. It was so small because
Hmm.
people felt bad. So I'm assuming because EA was just tapping their foot about it that they
Well,
just neglected that, which made it a worse game, obviously.
obviously, yeah.
Even if less people pick it, it makes it a better RPG to exist.
Yeah. And I could see part of that being in the way that like Dragon Age was notably more savage in its storytelling when it came to things of like slavery and racial tension and things like that. So the bad options really did seem worse. It wasn't just like beat up the guy or murder NPC number 5. It was, you're the elves and humans just entered your domain and you're going to hunt them down and brutally murder them, or you're going to punch a slave in the face, or
The whole thing's just depressing because like
yeah,
there's versions of it that sounded perfect,
yeah, yeah.
and then it's like it's back when it was like a live service, and then like you know what, you should have just released the damn thing as a live service.
No shit at this point. Like anything would have been better, but
Yeah. I like what on a final note on that topic because it's tired, obviously.
Mhm.
They did. I don't remember. They were trying to get mad at some lady who worked on the last mission of that game that got hired. I forgot who.
I mean, they always
she has,
find
like,
one
a-
Wokey.
Yeah, but it's weird because like that's like her only pedigree is coming in to help basically finish the game, but she
Mhm.
worked only on the cinematics of the final mission, which is
Oh.
considered the best part of the game anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like they're so bad about just introducing context to things.
Well, they can't introduce context to things. It's not about introducing context. It's about finding what you what confirms their own bias, right? That's what it comes down
I'm looking
to.
at Jay Viper for that one, boy. I've been noticing a little pattern of his where it's like context. Who cares?
Yeah.
Are you really
Yeah.
demonizing context now?
No, right.
Damn.
It's he's just like I can see why he hasn't got as big as some of the others, because he just absolutely makes shit up. I guessed right on this, and this, and I was like, yeah, but when I look at when I look at Ghosts of Yoida, when you said 1.3 million was the day after an article came out saying 1.3 million, and then you made a spread off of that, and he's like, I don't know what article you're talking about. I was like, come on, man, you're not making it.
And then Andy's article or Andy's video here is based off of that website apparently.
Yeah, it is 100%. That's their which is funny because the articles I saw where Airbagged had put the like he took a screenshot and circled the article where they talked about that small no name tech for gamers article thing using a 10,000 follower X account, and then they used a 10,000 follower AI art X account.
Him being
Simon,
banned is probably the best thing for him because I think he's gotten way better as a person.
yeah.
It's so unironic, 'cause he's like, I always try to tell him, you know, I had that fucker blocked for like 5 years
Did you?
because of his Overwatch takes. He kept pushing annoying like giga woke like fake news related to Overwatch, and I'm
Mhm.
like, because I was always a big sure whatever Blizzard did like all the bad stuff they did, but I was always distraught seeing like entirety of left Twitter pushing the whole thing, or anytime that Overwatch did anything, they brought up stuff that happened to Blizzard that if you ever researched Team 5, which is that team,
Mhm.
they were literally angels. They didn't do anything. Or they're not listed on anything. All the women that ever worked there under Jeff Cap. Well, Jeff was the only one, but I think he made that studio as repentance for the whole his earlier years. 'Cause
Yeah.
he was known as a shitter.
That's
But
funny.
like that's why I blocked him, because he kept pushing about anytime Overwatch did anything, they thought it was a cover for, you know, the really bad thing that happened. I'm like, no, they're taking on the sins of the father because they happen to be under Blizzard.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I can remember when I started like really doing culture war stuff was around Failguard. And the thing is, well, at least on X, not necessarily on my channel. And well, I did some, but I was on X going at both sides for dumb takes and things like that. And I probably wasn't any more right. Yeah, I have in a way too. But Simon said on here a while ago, and as someone who played Inquisition, I was hella bummed when at Veilguard's story, like the whole thing, it just felt like DA fan service written by a guy who didn't didn't know jack shit on DA. Yeah, oh dude, everyone was so excited for Dreadwolf. Like the game was touted. Huh?
It needed David Gator so bad.
Yeah.
The second he got fired during like the first round of layoffs after I think the oh man, we're talking this is my fault.
No, you're good. You're good, brother. You're good. I know you just took over. I told you I'm tired as hell tonight. So, let's get through this one and we'll go from there. So, back to Indy, back to talking about him. I can cut you out if I start actually editing my videos like I should.
Games. Not everyone is as in tune with the culture as the people watching this video right now. So this means that even the most milquetoast vanilla gamers who just buy what they like and know literally nothing about the politics behind them, they also didn't buy the game either, it looks like, which tells me that players in general are just completely done with...
He almost didn't preface it himself there. Did you hear it? Like, he almost had to recut that script. We don't know. And it's like, how are you, again, this goes back to the thing, like, what makes this number bad? Can you explain to me, besides the experts told me, why is this number bad?
Either female-led first-party Sony games, which I don't blame them since that's most of them these days, let's be honest,
like
or
that
they're just
so
tired of open world.
like not understanding why there's less physical in Japan.
Yeah, that's been a big one for me. Well, it's all over the United States. Like I've gone at Legacy Killa a couple of times recently for stuff, and me and him have gone back and forth a little bit, but like a lot of his takes around this particular subject have been pretty on point, like bringing up like, yeah, this doesn't make any sense, and actually showing where the gaming sales have been dropping for physicals for years, and you can even see the dip where 5 years ago it's just like, all right, fuck it, no more physical. Female led
Gamers have decided.
Yeah, right. Well, that's them. They say gamers have decided, and usually, yeah, they have decided, but it's not in the direction that the anti-woke say it is.
They got the dominating voice now, so
yeah. So let me. I'm trying to search like Sony games 2025. Let's just do. What have they released in 2025? Ghost of Yote, The Lost Souls, Battlefield 6. Does Battlefield fall under Sony's?
No, it's EA.
It's yeah, that's what I
Or
thought.
it's a multi-platform, so
Yeah.
which
I was
I
more who's the producer of it. Either way,
oh,
like him
nice.
Dice, gotcha. And Dice is under EA, yeah. Um I don't know where he's getting this, like the female lead character. There's been good
Say
games. I
nothing
just
about the
can't think of any
politics
off the top
behind
of my
them. They
head.
also
Here's
didn't
a
buy the game
lot.
either. Look,
Split Fiction.
Split
That one blew
Fiction.
up.
Yeah, that one you could definitely. I would definitely call that game. It's not even woke because it's not really about the politics.
Oh,
It's
it's
about writing
two
stories.
artists.
Yeah, two artists
Yeah.
writing stories. Like I hate when some people are like, "Well, it's just a woke game because it's girls in the game." Like it's woke because there's a female beating up men. Okay, so every game that's ever been out there that does this is woke.
Yeah, it's a little silly because there's a few games out there and movies and stuff that came out this year with like female villains
And
and
there've
dude
always
main
been
characters.
female villains. Like
Yeah.
they talk about oh god, what's her name? Brad Pitt's old wife. Are they still married? Who played Laura Croft?
Oh, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
No.
Angelina Jolie. Like that movie, she was beating people up, and she's a skinny little girl with big tits. So is that woke now? That's the one they always go to because
No,
everyone
no.
thinks that that's how Laura Croft like was fully originally designed around. It's like no, it was out long before.
I don't know why they hate the current design because
Oh, man.
R34 sure doesn't.
Yeah, well, that's the true gooners gone goon.
Literally, I'm just like,
Well,
I've seen that version of the character so much more in those spaces than anything else.
Well, there's this weird sect of people that have come out in like the anti-woke, where they only push the same female Asian face over and say that that's the only thing that's beautiful women, and that's kind of I think where it's come from.
Yeah.
Or anything Western like is
Oh,
ugly.
Millennial Macaroni. She was
Millennial.
big on Laura Croft.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of funny how she kind of vanished, and
Yeah.
all the Laura Croft complaining vanished with it.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Is like once you get rid of the people who are just complaining for no reason, most people aren't paying attention to it. Bro, if a game like the original Life is Strange came out today, people would scream woke from the top of their lungs. You could say that about so many games from back in the day, like they're just told to be woke just because of something simple, and they see something that hits that pattern recognition and their bias, and they're like, all right, it's woke, now we have to find out why.
It's like
Oh man,
players in general are just completely
My
done
favorite
with either
memory is Fox News freaking out about Mass Effect 1 because lesbians.
yeah, I remember that was so funny, and all gamers were laughing, or I feel like they should have been laughing at that take. Even I grew up around a lot of
I remember it.
yeah, it was just silly. Like when did we gamers think lesbians were bad? When did any
Just like the easily acceptable gay though.
yeah, it is the easily acceptable gay.
Yeah.
When most men think of when most straight men think of lesbians, they're not thinking about the butch and her friend, or the normal looking couple. They're thinking about that one specific one that they watched on that one site for about 3 minutes.
Yeah. Which is fine. But ugh.
Wolfenstein 2 is
a
still
great
hated by
game.
some people. That's another series I didn't
It
get into.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sad. The first one is actually perfect. Second
That's
one
what
has
I've
flaws,
heard.
but it's still fun.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I mean, I played the original Wolfenstein. I could tell you that.
Oh.
Played the shit out of that.
I mean,
But
it literally starts with you as a paraplegic in a wheelchair. And you wake up and you get a gun and start killing Nazis
that's just
in your wheelchair.
beautiful. Beautiful. And that
Because they're
game,
going.
if that game was made
great.
today, if it was made today, just as it was, they would call it woke.
Second one did. The second one literally was called SJW
Yeah.
Slot back in 2017.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was, and guess who was in that? Our good friend Deborah Wilson.
No.
She was leading the American resistance, along with a bunch of others.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff.
Well, I heard myself say slop, and I'm like, that wasn't even a word in 2017.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
It's called SJW. That was still around. I don't think woke was super settled in yet.
No, woke was around, but SJW was still the kicker at that time.
I blame Ghostbusters for everything we're suffering right now.
If
The all-women Ghostbusters, god fucking damn it.
Yeah, it was like the worst decision I've ever seen anyone make. And then it's gotten worse. You get stuff like Velma, and you got stuff like there's like really very bad cases.
Because I think it's just hatred incarnate. It's not even like woke or anti-woke. It's just hatred incarnate for everybody.
Yeah, but it's so bad. Yeah, it's hatred incarnate for everybody. Even the wokes hated it. That's true. That's true. I see what you're saying there. I miss the term SJW. I do too.
Our also good friend and great reporter and ethical journalist, Madame Savvy. Remember, that's what caused her. That was her last Reddit entry. Was how Freddy should have been black. And not Velma.
That's so funny.
And then she vanished for 2 years and then came back. I don't even know when she come back. I know it was like this year, or no, it was like the end of last year. We started seeing her pop up.
That's so funny.
Like I
It's
said,
it's
I'm
so
calling it. If it becomes trendy to be like super Libby again, she's gonna go right back to it.
You know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna watch this tomorrow.
Screenshot her.
No, not gonna screenshot her. I'm gonna watch this tomorrow, and we're gonna go ahead and start. Tomorrow's Saturday when I have more sleep and I can focus on it because I don't have enough focus to do this. So we'll be reshooting this part. I'm gonna go ahead and boot up Digimon, and we can just talk games and play Digimon because I want to play the shit out of it. I've already gotten a little bit of a ways into it. Dude, it's so good. It's like it just hit that itch that I didn't realize I had for monster capture sims. Boop.
Yeah.
Because I haven't played
It's
like
kind of hilarious that game had no marketing.
yeah, it's just kind of shadow
like
dropped.
great. And then it's just doing really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, people achy for apparently Digimon.
Well, I think I remember getting to a point where I was preferring Digimon over Pokemon as a kid in my younger years because Pokemon was just kind of the same game over and over and over again. Back when Gamergate 2, I believe she started popping up around 2023, back when Gamergate 2 kicked off. Yeah, that probably sounds about right. But yeah, it's so surprisingly, it's so much different than Pokemon that you always like they're used as a comparison, but and they're both like capture. It's not even capture games. In a way, it's a capture game. But the concept of Digimons is so much different. Where like Pokemon sits stuffed in on that
Specific age group, I feel.
Yeah. Well, the Digimons are like they talk, they have more emotions and things like that, where it's more animalistic yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest one because everyone's been begging Nintendo or not Pokemon Company to actually invest in just full voice acting.
Yeah,
because like their most recent game got really the cutscenes get better, but the lack of voice acting is starting to really make them suffer.
Yeah. Well, this one doesn't have 100%
Just regular RPG levels of it. I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
yeah, it's just got like regular, the main scenes they'll do it, and then there's few. It feels like it's more voice acting than actual just written text, but that could just be me.
Yeah.
Find the woke Digi. I can't even spell Digimon. Time Stranger. This game is woke, of course, because colors, I guess. Also, one thing that Digimon I don't think is... Yeah, it has body type. And I think it even says that you could change it later if you want to.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Who made this again?
It was... Hold on, I can pull it up.
Not Bandai.
No, it's Bandai Namco.
Oh, it is Bandai Namco.
Yeah, it's Bandai
Okay.
Namco, yeah.
Bandai Namco promoting sex change in my video games.
Yeah. How dare they? How dare they? Where is... Hold on, I gotta get it. I gotta get it on screen because none of y'all can see it. Where is it?
Yeah, I remember Alan Wake 2 stuff. Everything they went... that game is fascinating because it's actually one of the few cases, and I don't remember if SBI truly was involved,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't have, I would say, a negative effect. Like, every screenshot they took was very out of context. Like, there's a scene where one of the black... I don't remember her name, the black lady, where she was... they took a screenshot of one of her, like, hallucinations where she sees, like, an evil version of herself who's talking about white men bad. But they didn't put the context that that's an evil version of herself that she has to conquer and basically say no to. Because that's not the correct... That isn't the correct choice to just, blame.
Right. She's basically saying, like, that's something that she fights against, right? We all have biases that we have to fight against. So, which is good of her to I guess. Yeah, it is. There we go.
But, they took it as they're trying to replace him, and I'm like, no. Games just have multi-protagonists sometimes. It's like Resident Evil. You get to play as somebody else sometimes, and that doesn't take away from, like,
the experience
of them.
Yeah. I still remember how Alan Wake 2 was considered woke. When I think it was the tamest thing in the world. Yeah, that was my understanding it.
Here I go.
That's a series I've always wanted to get into. I think I played the first one but never beat it. That's a pretty much... Second one was... It looked good. I like my horrors. What are we naming myself? We're just gonna do a war.
I would say the one thing they need to work on is gameplay, because it's not perfect. But I would say it's like... fine.
Yeah.
Alan Wake has weird gameplay anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird game. Yep, start with a name and appearance. This game is very anime. I mean, I know Digimon is very anime, but I find myself like just commentating on it while I was playing about things that I thought were kind of silly and ridiculous.
Take your seat and wait for the show to start. A story about the natural laws of the world is about to begin.
Digimon always had the better looking monsters. I'm sorry, for a boy, like growing up, for me as a kid growing up, like they always had like the dinosaur looking horrifying monsters that were on your side.
Never logical evolutions. That's the one funny thing about Digimon is it could turn into something completely off, but that's just... It used to be kind of normal, where like it made sense. But now you can just completely get like the evolutions profile. It's TVRL.
Yeah. Well, the evolutions I feel like are a suggestion because so many monsters can turn into the same monster.
Yeah.
Now I'll say it doesn't look like they.
Watch.
I don't remember, honestly. I know I did watch. I want to say like the original one, but I don't know that I watched a ton of them. Like I grew up into. I started watching like for anime type stuff, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and you know, once Cartoon Network became a thing, that was kind of the stuff that I watched. But I don't remember which Digimons that I watched. I think I had one of the original Digimon, the little like keyring thing.
Yeah.
And I knew I played a couple of games. I just can't remember which games they were. It happens when you hit 40.
I don't remember many of the games either. I just had a few friends really into it. I watched, I think, all the way till like there was one where they turned into the Digimon. That one was like apparently people's like least favorite. Well, that time was people's least favorite.
Yeah.
The shows took a little bit of a nosedive after it, but it's kind of gotten a resurgence recently in terms of being good. But yeah, like they always have a better storyline to me too, in general. And I guess the games kind of carry that also.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon's a little stale sometimes with the storylines.
Well, it's the same thing over and over again, right? The thing I think Pokemon has been failing on is they just keep trying to add to this ever-growing list of Pokemon. Every game has to be new Pokemon, and it's gotten to the point where, like, I feel like Digimon, in this game, there's like 450 Digimon, but I don't feel like that's grown a lot since the last time I played it. I know there was probably a lot less, but it's now some of them are super strange. They have some of the weirdest monsters. What was it? So anomalous phenomenon.
You know, paranormal
I looked up
occurrences that can't
Google AI says there are over 1,500 currently for Digimon.
Is there
I
really?
don't think every game has. Well, think of it this way: you gotta include cards. The spin-offs are a bazillion.
True. This one I think then just maybe just uses their base, their more well-known ones, and offshoots of the well-known ones. So.
Because people remember the TV show ones the most, so it's like just focus on those. And yeah.
People want to see the thing that they remember from their childhood. Okay. Now I'll say with this one, since I've been playing it,
mysterious life forms,
it's
localized earthquakes,
who the protagonist is it seems a little off.
Strange reports.
Like,
All typical anomalies. So it's time for Adamus to step in. The top brass have high hopes for us, I'm told. So I'm hoping we can make this mission a repeat performance.
Yeah, like it's this Adamus group. You really don't. So far, I haven't found out next to anything about what Adamus is. Who, like, it's very much left a mystery while you find out about some of these other organizations that are. Oh, which I could have just pushed that button right there just to see what they said. I forgot what they said last time. Okay.
Now that
This chick on the phone fucking annoys me. Like the first time you play, I don't know if it'll do it this time, but like I would walk over here, it would tell her to talk. Then I would walk over here, and she'd give me another little tutorial. And then I would walk over here and get to here, and she'd be like, "Hey, don't forget this." And I still feel like she does it sometimes, where I'm like going somewhere, and she's like, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know things." And I was like, "No." Yeah. Yeah, it's just yeah. Stop telling me things.
Or not.
True. Yep, Digiline. I know about my Digiline. I can get messages that I'm never gonna read. The combat, I think it's a little bit more interesting than I've seen in the latest, like, Pokemon ones, because Pokemon's always just like grass type. You know, it's all based off the elements and then just doing your attacks. Where in this one, they also add in a little rock, paper, scissor mechanic with, I don't know if it's always been in Digimon games, but you'll have like, all right, you have the three basic ones are virus beats data, and data beats, what is it called? I'll look at it here in a minute when I get my Pokemon. Like
Your Pokemon?
Yeah, my Digimon. Excuse me, my legally distinct Pokemon. But Digimons.
I see you've reached the specified coordinates. Give me a sit rep.
Yeah, bitch, just because I do my job. It's some kind of protest.
Yes, apparently.
Monsters talk to you
The
back,
government
so
never
like you
fully
feel a better
explained why
connection
they
there.
closed off Nishishin.
Yeah, that's actually weaved into how the characters evolve, the
Some
monsters
must have been
evolve.
exploded at an underground construction site. But a
Yeah.
wall of this scale
That has been a
something
very
like
big
that.
staple for
That
Digimon
clearly
games,
doesn't
though,
add
is
up. Hence the
mood.
angry crowd demanding
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
reason.
the connection you get with these creatures versus like everyone knows about Ash and Pikachu's connection, right? But
Yeah.
does anyone really know any other character and their connection with a Pokemon? Like we know about the main people, but no one remembers
It's called
anyone
the Wall
else.
of Hope. The wall was built just after that, ostensibly for
Something that doesn't make sense about this game is this wall of hope.
to investigate are seen most often around this wall.
Let me see.
Best to assume we'll be investigating.
It'll probably pull
what's
up
on
in
the
a second.
inside as well.
What's that?
You can really feel.
Good, your
the fear
stream's
and
on a
anger of the
delay.
crowd.
Oh yeah.
Along with-
An odd
Oh, I didn't set it the proper
increase in
one.
frequency of anomalies
I set it for normal.
social unrest. Anomalies
This wall just I feel like
late,
because it's a time traveling game, right?
handful of times in
So
history.
we go through,
Aren't sure why.
something bad happens, you get sent back in time before the thing happens, and now you're trying to stop it.
Collapse.
It's that storyline.
From an
Like it's not an original trope, we'll say.
Even more.
But it's like this wall is gigantic, and I feel like this story is telling me that it was put up in a couple of days.
Nevertheless,
Technology.
Our ultimate mission
Yeah.
is to uncover the causality
There's
of
also this thing
anomalies and the horrible tragedies that follow.
in
Try
in
investigating that area a little further.
there's also this thing in animes that happens where like I almost feel like when I watch an anime, I come to the conclusion that the Japanese population just doesn't pay attention to anything. Where there's like massive destruction and fighting, yet no one seems to know about this secret organization that's doing these massive fights and protecting them from these things that they don't believe exist. It's like, wait a minute. They just destroyed half of Tokyo, but still no one knows they exist. And it kind of does that with this.
I don't know. But who knows?
It was like a thing I had with Bleach, where Bleach was trying to. I love Bleach, which, by the way, well, I liked the first couple of seasons of Bleach,
Oh yeah.
but then you kind of fall off. I liked I like the very first, Alec when he first becomes the thing, and then I like when he's going to rescue, what's her face. But then after that, it just kind of becomes like.
Yeah. It's when they ran out of manga to adapt.
Yeah.
That was his biggest killer, is the fact that it just ran out. So they have to do like tons of filler. There has been a continuation, I think, that picks up where that series ended, and it's just continuing the actual like canon. So yeah, I don't know. You could always try to get that.
True. Well, I have a problem with sticking with the long-term things when it comes to anime. Like, I get maybe if I enjoy it, I maybe get a couple 100 episodes in, and then I'm like, all right, I can't watch anymore.
Exhausted.
Yeah, I'm exhausted of this story. And sometimes, like even with Bleach, suffers from the same problem that Dragon Ball suffers from, I think, and there always has to be higher stakes. So everyone's god tier by the end of it.
An update.
There's a word for that.
I'm sending you an
What's that?
additional mission.
Yeah.
Someone is requesting aid near the target coordinates.
You see how like we've talked to her like 4 times?
Your Digivice.
Yeah.
Normally, I'd assume that to mean they're a member of the organization. At any rate, do what you
Shonen
can to keep
anime.
whoever it is.
Oh yeah, shonen. What you're saying is shonen anime trope.
Yeah. Shonen anime trope is generally what I watch. Because like a lot of my favorite ones are not that kind of anime type. Look, Digimon.
Discovered some phase electron life forms. Phase electron life forms are mysterious organisms often found in the
That
vicinity.
cat looks like it's trying to
anomalies.
poop.
Adamus has been
Oh.
studying them for years, but the truth.
Yeah,
of
One
their
Piece
nature
is
still eludes us.
insane long. You gotta like
The analysis
They
Yeah.
are remaking, I think,
finally
it,
decided on a name
because
for
also it's
creatures in a
yeah,
report
all the
put
like
together
first
today.
few seasons that are like ancient
Going
now. I
forward,
think they're
they're to be
planning on doing a
referred to as
remake.
digital
That can
But they
go
wanna bring
good
it
or
up to, like,
bad.
the
Digimon for
standard.
short.
No, they just want it in the quality
Naturally,
standard
Okay,
currently.
defenseless. I'll
And
transmit some
that series
fire
makes
points
so
right now.
much money. There was just no
The
way if
connection
they
will only allow
chimp
me
out
to
on
send
the
one
quality.
number, so make your
That would be like, I don't think they could suffer the wrath of their fan base.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's too
So-
big.
Yeah, so you got data. Data beats vaccine. Vaccine beats virus. Virus beats
What
data.
do they mean by that?
Well, it's like hacking. Well, so the yeah, that's the one that doesn't make the sense. I feel like they started with vaccine, or they started with virus. And they were like, viruses mess with, data. So that's what we're going to use. And we have to have something that stops the viruses. So that's vaccine. But then the only thing left is for data to beat vaccine. So that's where it is. But you've got that. And yeah, I go with this guy because these other two are just too cute for me. I have to have the cute guy with a hat on.
Yeah.
A hat that has wings.
Mhm.
And he shoots drugs at people, so.
Patamon turns into freaking crazy
Oh yeah.
tier
So
ones.
they all turn into crazy tier ones at one point or oh, it won't let me do the. Oh no!
Cherubimon's always
Hostile
cool.
Digimon confirmed.
Who?
That's the one where he's like the really armored angel with he's blue and he got like a bajillion wings.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think it's called Cheru. I don't remember the exact name
This
of
is
it.
the best part. Why this is better than Pokemon. It's coming up. You'll see it in just a second, in like 7 seconds. It has a gun.
A gun.
Yeah, your phone turns into a gun. And you literally get abilities like where normally like the Pokemon trainer would never have any abilities. In this one you have agent abilities, and one of them is just literally shooting the monster with your gun. They all shoot from your gun, but a lot of them will do like stat boosts. But coming up here, it's you've got the vaccine one, but then there's other ones that are off to the side that I'm not sure what they do. I know one of them's called Unknown, and the one on the very bottom is for the little blobs that are in training blobs. They don't have any connection to the attribute sheet.
Mhm.
And you can get, so far I've gotten up to like I think 300% maybe the max damage you can do. All right, drug time, bud. Booyah. It's been a long time since I even thought of Digimon. Like I never would have thought anything about a Digimon game coming out. I figured it was pretty much like dead and gone.
I'm surprised you're playing it. Like that's not a game I thought you at all
Play? Dude, I was Pokemon was my game. I played, Game Boy. I was a Nintendo dude growing up my whole life, so I had Game Boy Advanced. So I played a lot of Pokemon. And when I don't remember exactly when Digimon came out, but it came out around the same time as the other, because it started out as the little thing, right?
I think.
And I thought that was a cool concept. It was Tamagotchis, because I've killed several Tamagotchis, but then you could get the Digimon that were Tamagotchis that could fight. And I was like, yeah, I want a Tamagotchi that can fight. More drugs for you. And then I kind of got into Digimon, a couple of Digimon games. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
was
always been a
game that came out prior to this one that's a Digimon game, but it was more like a tactical game, but it was like a almost a visual novel kind of thing. But it was a bunch of kids and like they could all just die.
Yeah, I always remember seeing about that, and I was like, "Oh, that looks interesting." And then I'm like, kind of watching things about it. I'm like, "It's really just like a horror game."
It's a horror game.
It allows you to command.
There's a kid that gets his
hostile
bit.
Digimon with a
This kid's
free
abusive to his
attack.
Digimon and evolves into like
Give it
a really
try.
bad version of it and just bites his head off. And I'm like,
Oh
what the
shit, that's so crazy. It's like, where was this? Isn't Digimon. Digimons are the friends you found along the way.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's a basic rule of Digimon. If you're abusing the shit out of it, it's gonna turn into something really bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I guess that is kind of the thing with it. Because with this game, you'll talk to them, and you can say different things. Some of them good, some of them mean. It's usually based around 4 different, I guess, emotional tropes. And that'll determine what it can evolve into. And it'll also give them boosts to, like, certain abilities as they evolve. Boom! Down, bud. Spank that guy. So I've always been a huge turn-based player. Turn-based games, like Final Fantasy and all them, that's like my bread and butter growing up. So it probably started with Pokemon and some of the original Final Fantasy games. And it's always continued onward. Drugs for you! You see that where I got, or you'll see it in a minute where I got a negative, keep that and say that. You want me to put it on screen for you to view, at least?
Yeah, actually. That's a good idea.
I'll screen share so that you're on.
I'll hear myself, and I can exactly be where you're at.
Yeah.
That's an easy solution. Otherwise, I have playing 76 on the side.
Boom. There you go, bud. So, yeah, here's a moment you can talk to him. Where are you now? Because I got to bring it back over here.
Oh, this one turns into Imon.
It can. I turned the first one, first time I evolved him, I turned him into one of the troll ones. Is that Imon?
No, he just looks similar to the style, but he's more like an actual person.
Yeah.
Well, no. He's like a little demon purple thing.
Oh, yeah.
Into like a biker dude.
There's also one that's like an emo kid or an emo guy, like belts all over him or something.
Yeah, I think that's in the path.
Yeah.
Rub my shoulders.
So he asked me about something, and you've got rub my shoulders. This one's like the valor option. This one is wisdom. This one is friendship, and this one is heart. So this is why the game's woke too, probably. We're gonna go with rub my shoulders. Yeah, emotions are in the game, so it's woke. We can't have none of that shit. Because we don't understand stoicism.
Imon. Let's see.
And then
Imon's a rookie.
Imon's what?
I like how his type is evil. Type evil.
Type evil.
Wow. Evil.
So, well, they have that 3-pronged system, and then on top of it, you have the system of elements that go with it. Good. Nice. So it's like there's a little bit of more. Like you can have a guy who is really good at hitting the enemy, but he uses fire attacks, so his fire attacks end up causing more problems. Hold on, I'll be right back.
The target coordinates are just ahead, but there appears to be an obstacle in your path. Your Digimon should be able to remove it easily. Give it a try.
I needed something to drink. My throat's getting.
So, what's the name of the one I was talking that we were looking at?
You talking about Divi?
There.
Where do I go
Explode
to?
the wall. Yeah, what's his name?
It's Devimon.
Demi Devilmon. So yeah, Demi
Devimon.
Devilmon.
He's a Devi, not a devil.
Devimon. That, I think... Okay, let's think of a different one. Yeah, this one evolves into, like, literally the bad guy of the series.
That's why I like him.
Oh yeah, Devilmon. Because if he gets into Devimon, ooh, yeah, that's really evil.
Run away!
Pokemon would never associate with Christian iconography.
Yeah.
Never, which makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely 100% cutes and kidsy.
I mean, I wasn't allowed to touch Digimon when I was little.
Oh, really? I was
Yeah,
playing
it was the
GTA day one as a kid. Yeah, well, fair. That's fair.
Oh my god! So you know what? A funny story. My mom's like my dad. They divorced when I was like 2. So my mom was going through just different men. Anyway, for her second husband,
Let's go.
I think it was like my 10th birthday or something, 11th, 12th birthday. She bought me Diablo 2, and he got mad and like gave me the Spider-Man game instead.
Yeah.
I got denied Diablo because it was not a Christian game.
Oh no, that's too bad.
I mean, the
Well, you
Spider-Man
should
game
play
was
it.
cool, but
Satanic Panic. That's right.
yeah. I was like, God damn. I didn't even realize at the time. But I was big on like Bionicle on Xbox and stuff too. Awesome.
Yeah.
Enough with the jokes.
I miss that
already.
era game still.
It's
Just
hardly
because
the
it was
time,
just
don't you think?
a gazillion of them.
Hey, where did
Yeah.
he go? Was
I
it
mean, I
with
miss
you?
playing. I miss my
Maybe he
Game
went
Boy.
ahead.
even my original Game Boy, just playing in the
We
car
need to hurry up to the roof of the government
on
building.
the way somewhere.
Didn't care if a game flopped or not.
That's right. There was no woke. There was just playing games with cute little
Yeah,
critter
word of
animals.
mouth. Like, you know, people were like, oh, this game is actually not that good, and talking to friends, and that's how you learned.
Yeah, yeah. Or I used to religiously get
Seriously, what's
Game
with
Informer
you?
magazine.
I mean, isn't a war
And-
supposed to break out? We
and I
have
would
to
read
get
through
to
the
roof
games
of
that
the
were
Tokyo
coming out or about to come out.
Building.
You're Catholic, Red Stain? Okay. How did that
I'm guessing
happen for you?
target for our additional mission.
Now I'll say I am.
Whole lot of sense now. It's highly probable.
I would associate myself as a Christian. I'm just a very bad one.
What I still want to know, though, is why she was already approved to contact your Digivice. I'll check
Yeah,
the
like
database
my
again.
mom was
If I learn
Catholic,
anything, I'll be in touch right
but I
away.
think her husband,
Even though she
at the
may
time,
be
my stepdad,
interested,
I remember my
we need to
stepdad,
do something about
was,
that Digimon first.
I don't remember exactly what, but it was definitely
Follow
not
into the
Catholic.
city. For
Southern
now, please
Baptist.
proceed with the primary mission.
Probably it was Florida, so whatever was there in 2007.
Yeah, probably
Or
Southern
what- I don't know.
Baptist. Here in the South, it
Yeah,
was.
he was super Christian.
Mhm.
Like no Pokemon either. Yu-Gi-Oh was the devil, that type of stuff. Yeah. Which is it's so funny thinking about it. How my mom would just buy me Yu-Gi-Oh
It's no
cards, but
use,
they were always the
but a major
bootleg ones.
conflict-
Yeah. Hey, you got to get what you can get sometimes.
Yeah, I mean I didn't care, but people
Yeah.
at school were like, "Well, that's not real."
Who cares? Sit around with your pirate hat on.
Be like that. At least
Nah,
give us
I
some
guess
warning
that was
next time,
pirating.
okay? We should
Yeah,
keep close to the
even if
government
my
agent.
own stuff
We have
going
to
on,
stop
like
the
my
fight that's about to
sexuality.
start on its roof.
I like to think about the Christian attributes I was raised with still,
Mm-hmm.
because like it's valuable, and like, I value it.
Yeah.
I do a prayer once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
Hell, I've thought about finding a Catholic church around here, but it's a little hard.
Difference between there's when it comes to, at least from my understanding of the Catholic religion, which isn't much. Catholics are a lot more like the structured than say a lot of the other ones out there.
The OGs too. That's
Yeah, they are the OGs.
Christianity 1.0.
Well, like in the old days,
Yeah.
yeah. The only people who knew how to read the Bible, it was translated. It was never translated into English back in the day. It was all
Latin, I think.
yeah, it all remained Latin, so the poorer people couldn't read it.
Yeah. That's basically the gist of how all these split ups occurred was church abusing their power, that sort of thing too. Like
Mhm.
Lutheranism's huge because of that. Like even my mom is so funny. Like I keep talking about those stuff she could buy me, and then like she loved watching that one Luther movie.
Oh yeah.
It never deterred her from being Catholic though. She was always fascinated with it, I think.
I think everyone gets that
But
that way at some point. Like I was raised very like we went to church when I was really young, and then after my mom and dad got divorced church wasn't really something we did. And my mom said it was very much like she didn't want to influence us one way or the other. So I got saved outside of high school, right outside of high school. And then I went to doing what 20-year-olds do.
Mhm.
19 and 20-year-olds do during those times. And then about 10 years ago, I got saved again and was going to a church regularly. But then the church, like, I hate big churches because of how it gets. But then this little churches have a problem where the big payers, the people who are keeping the church funded, are the older people, and it's not really about reading the Bible and the message. It's about them interpreting it. There was like a situation where I was into the church. I was helping teach Sunday school. I was getting, I was reading my Bible more regularly. And then this girl that was in the Sunday school got pregnant out of wedlock. And she'd been going to the school since she was a baby, right? Everyone knew who she was and everything else. And one deacon decided that she was a sinner, so she couldn't have her baby shower at the church, or her, because she wasn't married. And it's just, to me, that completely goes against the Christian ideals of we always bring in the sinners. And
Yeah, you're supposed to, because that's not an unforgivable act either. Like, I don't like shunning. Shunning is probably the worst thing any Christian sect that does shunning. I judge heavily on. That is not right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, and then we had another incident where I have a nephew who's like non-verbal autistic, and my sister-in-law wanted to bring him to church. Well, they have a little like baby room with a window, so you can take the baby in there. No, not a daycare. It's like a room that the mother can go sit and watch while the baby is younger.
Yeah.
So it kind of does stuff. And she took him in there, and he was probably like 3 or 4, but he's full autistic all over the place. So he's making noise, doing his thing, and someone made fun of him, not to him, but in front of my mother-in-law, where she could hear, and they just basically walked out of the church, and we're like, all right, we're done. This obviously isn't the Christian place we want to be.
Yeah.
But
That's very sad to hear.
it was, and like, I don't consider myself, I don't believe I've dropped out of the Christian faith at all. I don't believe that at all. I even listen sometimes to Christian radio. The music's gotten better than it used to be. But yeah, that's kind of how it went for me. So we've been on the forever journey of finding a new church, but I don't know that we ever will.
You can
You're-
evolve.
Who can?
I don't. This one can evolve into Lady Devilmon.
Oh.
Not that one.
Oh.
The one.
Yeah. Well, I hope the big one doesn't. He goes from big, tough.
No. That is already a freaking. That is an ultimate, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
These two, it shows you like. It's doing the thing that most games do, where they show you the most powerful guys. Like, you could have these guys.
Oh, it's a temporary one.
Yeah, like I'm getting saved by this guy.
Beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they do power scaling pretty hard in Digimon, and they're very strict about it. Like, your little guy absolute just gets annihilated.
Yeah. This one hasn't been bad. I've fought a few bigger Pokemon without like a big guy with me. They are not Pokemon, Digimon. A few bigger guys that kind of like have been interesting, seeing something that big on screen. And there are some mechanics that make it more interesting that we probably won't see tonight, but I may start doing a short segment on Fridays and then a little bit of finding the woke on this game. We stopped going to church a long time ago. We just pray in our house. Yeah, to me that's there is some belief I think in, you know, having someone there as a spiritual guide, but if everyone around you doesn't seem to be following the tenets that are in the book, it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
That anomalies are harbingers of further tragedy. Odds are there's more.
I'll tell you what's woke about this game is there's too many fucking women yapping at me already.
My
We
God.
have to nip this in the bud. That's our mission.
In the name of Adamus.
I'm counting on you, Agent.
You can be kind of a dick in this. Like, it obviously doesn't really have any real choice in it, but there are just some things that you can say but that are just like being a dick. Like, am I getting paid? It's my day off. Do I need to do anything? So I will say, for like a monster fighting game so far, the combat, while being the same basic combat, is more interesting just in the way you do your Pokemon fights, because there's a lot more emphasis on changing out Pokemon, or I'm gonna get it right one day, on changing out Digimon, and you're not there's no negative effect really for changing them out. So, in Pokemon, you pull one out, put another one in, it takes a turn. You can change out the Pokemon and still attack in this one. You can use one item and still attack in this game.
Electric signals. Your Digivice uses the electronic aspects of Digimon to summon them into action.
Because I always hated change. Like, I never changed out Pokemon in the original games because it's like, it's a turn that they're gonna hit me anyway.
The Digivice can also contain
Very rare
Digimon
that you
equivalent
need
of
to.
DNA
Yeah.
as binary code, which can then be replicated like data.
At worst, it was like, or at best, it was like
We
them
call
trying
this
to
system
defeat the.
Yeah.
Ooh, is it called? I was about to call them the Fantastic Four. Whatever, the Elite Four. The Elite Four.
The Elite Four, yeah.
You need
So-
it to be much more like, okay, what counters them?
Yeah. In this one, here's how you do the, you don't capture guys, you kill them, and in this game you do a scan rate. So the more you kill, the higher the scan rate is. So some will, like, in the beginning of the game, a lot of them it's like 50-50 and you've got 200 max. But after 100, you can download the monster, and if it's at 200, then they're like, the higher it is percentage it is after 100, the higher stats that Digimon will have.
Oh, Red's bringing up that Civil War game.
Shame Ubisoft canceled the Civil War Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I would like to know about that. I don't know that it had anything to do with any of the stuff that a lot of people are saying. Like, I've seen people say that it's the anti-woke's fault, that they're doing it because of political whatever and all, and we just don't know, right? They're going through a huge changeover with this new company and everything else, so there could be a lot of reasons for these games getting taken down.
This was back in 24 that happened. It was actually by someone. Now it's an insider, so let's take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
It was canceled. It was canceled a year before they did all this. That's why people are bringing that up. Blaming that, but Ubisoft themselves inside the report said that they were just scared of the political climate.
Is that what it is?
Defeating
Grizzle, are you seeing what he's doing in real time, or are you watching the YouTube feed on delay? I got him watching through real time on Discord.
Once the scan rate reaches 100%, you'll be able to convert that Digimon and add them to your ranks. The closer the scan rate is, it's also...
Yes, thank you.
Also, hey, Damage, by the way.
Yeah, Damage has been up there. Damage showed me, so if you don't know, and Damage, I remembered afterwards. I don't know if I guess I sent a message to you about it. I've been on Endemion's credits list for quite a while now. Back right after he blocked me, I think, at that point.
He blocked you.
Oh yeah, I've been blocked for freaking months, for a long time.
That's great. Why doesn't he block me? Like I keep shitting on him pretty bad,
So-
like openly too, and like
I got
Jamal.
I got blocked by him, Grums, and Smash JT around the same time, right? All of them had
He muted you, didn't you?
recently. He has, yes,
The wall was
but he had me blocked.
Maybe
The reason he unblocked me is because something that I said activated the neurons of his
Thank you.
underlings, and it made it. And I've made it into their
we can't
what is it called?
Coordinates set to.
their little group, their messages. Their I'm in their messages.
Oh, Eric, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 8-bit. 8-bit was so 8-bit I didn't interact with until I literally shut Smash up. And that was when I broke the news that he was still doxing Alyssa. And he never said it. He hasn't since that day. He rarely acknowledges me, and it's only if he thinks he can get a dig. And the moment I come back, he shuts up again.
Just
It's
like
and then usually either him or Colt not anymore. I don't think she'll come near me anymore. But it's either Eric or one of those others would come around. Now they've taken the approach of if we just don't say anything to him, then maybe he'll go away. But
Oh my god. By the way, and I know it's so exhausting. I was looking on to retweet your stream post because I need to do that.
Mhm.
But I come around. There's a Tectone's already trying to say there's blood on his pet's collar. So one
Oh
of like
my
Hassan's
God.
friends, or Frogane. I don't know anything about Frogane.
Frogan, I know a little bit about her.
She posted like walking his dog at one point, and like very harmless post, and a little bit of his her. She had a handkerchief collar on the dog, and the tip of the handkerchief was showing on the fur. And Tectone posted that there's blood on the neck. Here, I'll
Yeah.
just link you this shit.
Yeah,
Oh my
link it to
God.
me. He's Tectone's so absolutely dumb. Like he just
God.
puts the most insane tweets out to try. At this point, I think he's just grifting to try and make money since he's not streaming.
I mean, yeah,
Because
like,
the
Mr. I was supposed to take a break.
yeah.
Like that is not blood. What are you talking about?
Well, there was an article he recently talked about recently with what was he saying? Fuck, can't remember.
Here,
I'm not gonna look it up.
I sent it to you.
Okay.
But like, she showed that she was wearing at the time a little a red handkerchief,
Mm-hmm.
and that dog's very fluffy. So like,
Yeah.
it's not gonna show very well.
No, it's.
Man, just when I was out of the drama, I go on Twitter once and I seen something that's just like, my neurons got activated. All right, back to finding your stream. There it is.
Okay.
Retweet.
Where'd you send it to me at? Oh, did you send it in the Discord?
Discord.
Discord. Y'all-
I guess this could go into Feed the Pig for people to see.
Yeah. Turbo Virgin.
There's a version of that. That's my favorite. It's called Chud Quarantine.
Chud
It
Quarantine.
used to be
That's
Grown
funny.
Quarantine, but yeah. There's 2 channels in that server. There's that, and then there's Chud Civil War, and it's every picture you could ever imagine going back a year ago of them arguing each other.
That's funny.
The few
That's
times they have.
You never answered me when I made my my ego. I asked my ego question. Like, were there any posts of me in there?
No. I always like plug you because I always try to say like you have good points.
I don't know that his crowd like. I think me and him might get along. I've never talked to him. Huh?
Yeah. They've not a single negative thing has ever been said about you.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that necessarily, but I don't know that they would agree with all of my points.
I mean,
So
Airbag comments under Near's post, so
that's true.
say
That's
what
true.
you will.
Yeah, that's true.
Because she's proven to at least not be a grifter, and that's respectable enough for a lot of
Yeah.
people, I think.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes she's Neru, but
That's less grifter, and maybe she's just she's not always smart.
yeah, that I agree
Maybe a
with.
little, like,
Lemony.
just argue with her. She's okay with arguing with.
Yeah. She'll have a conversation with you and not,
It might get violent, but
it might get violent.
oh yeah, I need to post it. But like, I made a point that they really want to cancel Hassan, but they did it like arguably way worse than trying to cancel Kirsch. They literally lost all steam within a day.
Yeah, well,
They got the worst people to cover it.
and two, they're going off of this narrative that suddenly people are waking up to Hassan, but you're going off of the narrative that he was mean to his dog when the guy has fucking done and said way more unhinged shit, right? like this is the guy who literally has talked about the blood of Americans and has posted a picture of a gun made by a Japanese man to assassinate somebody and other things like that. But you're gonna try and get him on the dog thing, like his rabid fan base. His fan base is solidified. It's like Asmon. You're not gonna like Asmongold looks like he may be changing a little bit on the culture war. After I don't either. But no matter what Asmon does, his fans are probably just going to go with him. Like, he's going to lose some, sure.
Yeah.
But most people who've been with Asmon have been with him probably for the long haul. He's just too big to fail.
Yeah.
George is like a lost puppy to me as a man. Well, it's like, who does he go with?
Yeah.
No one likes him now.
It's just sad because like
Yeah.
I can tell it gets to him in a way that actually like Alpha empathetic about, because I tried to appeal to his humanity on Silent Hill F being not really what he thinks it is.
Yeah.
All the message they want to push is that it's anti-marriage, but by design that series you're supposed to play like 3 times because you get alternate cutscenes and you get more exposition.
Mm-hmm.
I won't spoil anything, but basically there's more to the story than a lot of these people want,
yeah.
I think. It's
Yeah.
more because the F currently the biggest theory on what the F means is not feminism, it's freedom. And also people don't understand women in Japan in the 60s were literally objects.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad. Like, I think a 15-year-old not wanting to be married and sold off by her dad for dead is pretty okay.
Yeah, it's a story most people would be able to agree with, at least in the West.
Like, they portray the mother as basically, like, useless at helping her. She herself was, like,
Same way.
arranged marriage as well. Yeah. And she's just not doing anything.
Cycles of abuse tends to cause
Yeah.
more abuse type situation.
And it's written by a dude who is literally a social worker in
Nice.
Japan. And I cannot imagine how awful that probably was.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a fun job at all, does it?
And maybe stereotypical, but that's just the culture over there is ancient. And it has a lot of very poor traditional values, I would say. And maybe that's mean to me to say, but there's just some things that need to be left behind in the 14th century.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of things like people don't necessarily know about Japan or even like Asian culture in general. I remember watching or reading something talking about Asian communities in general, especially in the United States anyway, they vote more liberal, but their lifestyles are much more conservative than most others, which is it's an interesting concept.
The opposite for Hispanics, though.
Yeah, it's true.
My mom, she voted Trump twice, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
I didn't know you were
I never
Hispanic.
really argued with her. Huh? Like, You would not tell. My dad is white as white can be,
Nah,
and I inherited more of that side.
gotcha.
I can't speak Spanish for shit, but my mom's Colombian, so
Oh, nice.
I know most of my family from there, but I haven't really interacted with them much.
I mean, that happens. I was talking to a buddy of
My mom's all,
what?
God, she's terrible. I literally talked to my aunt once, and she told me to stop talking to my mom. And then because of I was venting about my mom. She has a horrendous habit of just guilt tripping nonstop. And I was like, that's her solution. And I'm like, I can't do that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
She's not perfect, but
Well, I mean, what family is? They went through the same shit in a different way than we're going through.
yeah, I read probably the same thing. Some of my mom looks, but
Yeah.
I wish I knew my dad more. Last year I was online trying to like search through any database possible to figure out what the hell he is.
Gotcha. Careful with that. Sometimes,
I didn't give that much information really.
yeah.
I didn't pay anything, so.
Well, I don't mean that. I just mean sometimes meeting the person is not what you expect it to be. Sometimes it is.
I met him in 2008.
Oh, okay.
The problem is that he was like 500 pounds, so I don't know if he's dead or not. All I know is that he divorced his second wife. I have 2 siblings on that side, and the last thing I knew about altogether is they were all Jehovah's Witnesses, and I hated that.
Yeah.
A burning passion.
Yeah, I mean,
but no, why?
you know,
Legit, legit. Never got a birthday present because of that. No
Aw,
Christmas,
that's
no
sad.
Thanksgiving. I'm just like, Ugh.
That's terrible. That's
Worst kind of
terrible.
Christian you can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to work as a kid, go door to door.
Ugh.
Let's go.
Forgive me, God, if you hear me, but I must shame your children.
Yeah, right. Let's see. So one weird thing in this mechanic that I think kind of takes away like the resource use in this game is you can literally stand still, and if you stand still for a second, that's how they start healing. And then it's like 6 seconds, I think, is the longest I've had to stand still, and they're fully healed. I don't know if that gets like just way worse that it's not worth it, but definitely. Let's
You know, Tecton gives me the vibe of he could be really popular if he just completely dipped from culture war stuff.
Tectone gives me the vibe of a 13-year-old emo kid who really isn't about that life. And that's what he gives me. And if you look at Tectone's history, he's been doing this kind of malicious stuff for years.
Sad.
In and out of the mostly around like the gacha community and stuff like that. He's pretty much gone in and fucking torn them apart from what I've heard. And I don't involve in those. I'm not part of those communities, but
You're toxic.
yeah,
Like, giga
super toxic.
toxic.
And he was apparently the most toxic of all, or whatever. That's what he got famous off of. And then
What? No, I feel like checking Tecton's Twitter just out of curiosity,
mhm.
and the usual, but I don't know where it's like, and only because Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the Toy Chica version of Chica from FNAF that's gonna be in it is voiced by Megan Fox.
What?
Why is she still getting deals? Come
I
on.
mean, she's Megan
She's a
Fox. All it took.
But she's not even herself. She's a weirdly sexually charged version of a robot. Because if you've ever seen the second Chica version, it's called Toy Chica from FNAF 2.
Uh-huh.
It's so gooner bait, and that's all Tecton's tweet is just his saying, I find it strange in today's day and age that people have blown more loads to Toy Chica than Megan Fox. Which I will tell you, it's honestly
Okay.
probably true.
Yeah, I could see that.
Marriage.
That it did. Well, the more modern hate men feminism did. So yeah.
What's your unpopular opinion of marriage? Oh, that's why. Where
It's
they
crazy
find
how Venezuela won the Nobel Prize, but still kind of gave a shout out to Trump. Still, people were not happy about it. What has Trump done that would bolster the Nobel Peace Prize? I don't understand that. Like, what has he
He'd
done?
have to legit solidify the whole Israel. He'd have to legit solve this Israel-Palestine conflict. And like they're trying to say he did now, but I'm like they literally broke ceasefire like the day
Immediately. And it wasn't Hamas that did it. It wasn't the terrorists. It was
This as usual, the culprits. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, the funniest thing Trump said ever in his life, honestly, last week was, "Why are you always so? Why are you? What was he say? I gotta find what he said. He said something about Netanyahu over the phone. Netanyahu. Why are you?
Oh, hey, look at this guy. Come here, you.
He said to Netanyahu, whatever, that why are you always so fucking negative? Over the phone.
Oh, Jesus.
talking like a Twitter user to another world leader is so funny.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know. You should ask him. You should. Yeah, I don't know. I hope he answered you. Like,
Yeah.
so fucking negative.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. Yeah. I don't know. Politics now has just become like so worthless. The fact that we have like the official White House memeing is just shows that society just needs to die.
I had a talk with someone about the entirety of like difference between like the last two Democrats or last not even Trump's first term and all the government social medias were all quiet and they only posted like anything related to like promoting their branch in a very normal adult way or like whenever an actual like relevant law would be put in related to it, they'd update it. And now every single one has turned into like some crazy 4chaner memeing all the day long. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Everyone, and I saw this one person talk about it, is basically government has turned in because it's full of like influencers and stuff. And Trump has essentially influencer origins.
Yeah, he's an influencer president. Yeah.
But they're all in government for content.
Yep. It's not about
government.
Yeah.
Government should be boring.
It should be
like,
professional, yeah.
People getting locked up and make a fucking AI-generated picture of them. I'm like, what is this? It needs to be boring. Now, people should know about it more.
Yeah.
Like, I was a crazy person in 2020, and I was literally watching Senate meetings for hours that the deals to do. I think I hurt myself really badly on that because I had developed an murderous hate in Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
A wish for things to Mr. Turtleman.
Yeah. I mean, it got very heated and Red Stain make a good point. When meme culture got involved in politics, it was over from the start. Yeah. I mean, it got incredibly heated in 2016 when it came to politics, and it started really bleeding into every aspect of the online. I mean, we did have like Twitter from back then was actually silencing and working with the government and deleting people off of their app. That was proven stuff. Now, I don't think it's any different now. It's just different methods that are being used. Like the owner
algorithm tweet.
Yeah.
Pretty open. Yeah.
So, and then the injection, like there's the dead internet I think is pretty much here at this point.
Bots absolutely have made everything worse.
And now with the latest AI technology, it's nothing but. So you never know if you're actually talking to a person. So just start calling everyone
like Jack
hackers.
Dorsey sucks.
Yeah.
Like, old Twitter had its incredible problems.
Yeah.
But when you have a man buying it, openly interacting with government, openly interacting with people, almost small people who should have never trust a billionaire that high, who owns the website, by the way, are all just glazing because they want a piece of that pie.
Yeah.
And he rewards that. It's like Jack didn't really do that. He had his own circles that everyone, and even Lips, just hated him anyway.
Yeah.
And even when they had their own, when they had a cozy position on Twitter, they never really sucked up to Jack Dorsey.
Yeah. Well, it's like it really is kind of its own, I don't know what the word for it is, aristocracies, where like you're in, you want to be the in crowd in the little microcosm that is X, because it gives you some modicum of power, some modicum of influence.
I don't blame people for wanting that, but
Yeah.
when it becomes illogical to do, like, gaming, Elon should have been shut out of gaming, period.
Oh
The
yeah.
second that it showed that he was paying people to do his accounts and faking it and taking away Asmon's blue check, that should have ended him in terms of like being beloved by gamers, and it just didn't.
I don't think he is beloved by gamers, though. Like, is he? He's beloved by the anti.
But I
Yeah,
guess.
but I'm starting to feel less and less. Yeah.
Like, even like Grom was saying that, oh, is this 4D chess? Were they just doing this to boost each other? And I'm like, shut
Much
up.
appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah. That
This
was
was
so
in
dumb.
24, where they were getting all this, like,
Everyone.
they were getting power because they were taking a chance on a lot of stuff collapsing in on itself through natural means to validate, but
Yeah.
I just wish I would just tank Grums for once and for all.
He's too big to tank. He's in the too large to fail thing. Part of the stream.
Asmon, but Grums, I mean,
Oh, Grums, he's almost there
he lives on
himself
that
now.
cliff, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think now that he's gotten a few call-outs, he's starting to build that influence. I think he's just going to be what he wants to be, which is the Ian Miles Chung of the gaming sphere of X.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't trust billionaires or millionaires. Millionaires can be that one can be a little bit different. It depends on the amount of millionaires, but when you start talking about these people who have billions of dollars worth of assets and stuff like that, it starts to become like, how does a person with that much power consider the rest of the world? Like, you see, we even before companies were, worth trillions of dollars and billions of dollars, they were fucking over the little man. We had to make laws to protect workers and to protect the environment and things like that. Yeah, it's always gonna be a thing. Power corrupts. Just billionaires and millionaires are another state of that power.
Their sense of sight.
It's just, I don't know, like, should have never created Doge. It should
Doge,
have at least not been led by him. Should not have been led by him.
Oh, well,
already
there should never have been done at all. Period. There should no organization that is not part of the government should have been involved in that, with pretty much no oversight for them. Right.
They did that for 6 months on a bed.
Yep. And he shouldn't have been sitting in the White House with the president. He's a CEO.
Oh, that's like of the social media. That's what I don't get. Imagine if freaking Jack Dorsey was just at Biden's White House like every day for like 6 months straight.
Yeah.
And still doing it. And I hate I hate doing this, but I feel like it's the one time I can talk about it that feels right to talk about, because I would have been there and saying I don't feel comfortable with like the social media that I'm doing is, well, they were in bed with people in the government, but when you got it out in the open like this now, that feels like it should be doubly wrong. 'Cause now we're not having to discover that. That's just out. Oh my, what's going on? That's
Yep. I thought she was dead when I first watched this cutscene. I was like, well, there's her death. I'll find her in the past, I guess.
can't kill her yet.
Well, this is her future self.
Why? I guess.
You mean like she knows who you are? You don't know who she is right now.
See,
But
the
she-
apocalypse happened.
Well, it only happened in. Well, it's about to happen. It's only. This is the other side of the wall. So this Digimon started destroying this side of the wall, and they built a big wall around it in like 2 days. So. But there's like multiple things that happen, so it's like really kind of a twisted ending. I may go ahead and call it here though,
Really long. No.
because my throat is getting scratchy and it's almost over
Get a
anyway.
drink.
I've been drinking, bitch.
Oh.
Anyway, so I'm gonna call it here. Tomorrow I'll go over the indie thing. I'll have more rest so I can actually assess it properly instead of how tired I was today.
Yeah, tomorrow's Saturday, so it'll be better.
Yeah. So, sad news. My D&D session this weekend got canceled.
Oh.
So we're gonna have to push it back. I gotta call them about that. But anyways, thanks guys for coming out. I appreciate y'all all the time. Hold on. Thank you, Grizzle, for coming on.
Yeah.
And I will see all y'all tomorrow.